Hello. Hello.
From the grocery store, you need to see this. So first step is add clean water about 3/4 of the way up. Next, throw some salt in, doesn't have to be measured. And finally, just sit back and wait 5 minutes and voila.
I'm Grace, and I'm the creator of Puree Produce. It's scary what grocery stores are hiding from us, even if you buy organic. The amount of
I don't even think I have another paper towel in here, do I? Thanks. Before we get started. Oh, jeez. Wasn't I on 70 yesterday? Oh, I can pull this one up. Hold on just a second. Let me. What is this? Is this shit juice on my face? So funny. I think I'm on 71.
and bacteria left on fresh produce is actually terrifying, and it's linked to so many life-altering health conditions. But Puree Produce breaks all that toxic stuff down, so it's actually safe and clean to eat.
Even this bag of pre-washed spinach isn't really clean. Just a few minutes with the Puree Produce and this is what came off. So much dirt, and this was supposed to be clean. So my dad spent most of his life researching what those pesticides were doing to people. He was in the newspaper, all that stuff, and he actually ended up falling victim to it himself from long-term exposure. And so having 2 little ones of my own, it really pushed me to create something that actually gets rid of these pesticides and toxins. So I'm sure you've noticed wax on things like apples, right? Well, they spray wax to get them shiny and last longer on the shelf, but what they're not telling you, it actually traps pesticides and chemicals underneath. And rinsing doesn't really do much, but watch, once I run it through Puree Produce, the wax comes right off, and so do any pesticides and bacteria. Okay, so the real headache with delicate fruits like this is you can't actually wash them without ruining them. If you try to rub them, they just fall apart and all those tiny crevices just trap dirt and chemicals. It's impossible to get out. But with Puree Produce, it's gentle enough that it doesn't ruin the fruit, but still strong enough to get into those little crevices. So the secret is electricity. When you add a little salt, Puree Produce creates a tiny current of electricity that flows right through the water. It activates tiny oxygenated microbubbles, like millions of them, which then break down dirt, pesticides, and bacteria. In fact, even hospitals are now using this same process because it's safer than traditional cleaning chemicals and it's just as effective. Okay, so let's do a little test. Let's compare Puree Produce to the most common methods out there: veggie sprays and a simple vinegar and water soap. First up, the veggie spray. Next, the DIY vinegar soak. And finally, Puree Produce. So just gonna shine a black light.
All right, you guys, Shabbat Shalom. Mommy stayed home for the first time, I might add. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Erica Kirk.
Hold on. I don't know why I just.
I gotta tell you, I am getting too old for this. I'm being serious. How old am I getting? My birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks, and this morning I was having the team help me pick out a microscope that I want as a present because I'm in my dweebing out era. I'm suddenly interested in DNA and cells, and I'm watching TikToks from phlebotomists. Like, why do you have to go to the doctor for everything? Can I figure this out with a microscope? That's how old I'm getting. Too old to have to take time out of my precious day to work through the latest Turning Point public relations blunder. Blunder after blunder, lie after lie. They treat us like we are toddlers. They want us to make believe. Yesterday, Erica no-showed an event, last minute, an event featuring the Vice President of the United States. How disrespectful. Well, not as disrespectful as the excuse that they are currently handing us as to why. Plus, Victor Marx, Pastor Victor Marx, have some respect. He replied to me, and to be honest, the response was kind of weird. It's just weird. I can't explain it. I'll let you guys be the judge. Welcome back to Candace.
I have a 134 IQ. I make less money than friends who barely passed high school. Here's what I finally discovered.
Last week, a kid I tutored in high school posted.
So last night, in case you missed it, in case you've been hiding under a rock, Erica Kirk was slated to appear alongside her friend, Vice President J.D. Vance, at the University of Georgia, and she just completely no-showed it. She stood him up. That is not casual. That is the sitting Vice President of the United States. It is low-key disrespectful outside of a real emergency. Emphasis on the word real. It was mystifying at first, really, especially since the decision very clearly had to have been made. We were left to assume that it had been made in the umpteenth hour because the announcement was made by none other than Andrew Colvett on stage. This means that ticket holders were not informed until the very moment of the event. Actually, the Turning Point leaders who put together the event were not informed that she was not going to be there. How do we know? Because they were posting and promoting her appearance just 50 minutes before doors opened. Here is a video of the TPUSA staff promoting her. Take a listen.
Hey everybody, my name is Grant Teller. I'm the field representative for the Peach Territory and also the University of Georgia.
And I'm Caroline, and I'm the University of Georgia chapter president.
And we are here at the Aikens Ford Arena about to host J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk.
Doors open at 1:50, so come out and support your country.
We'll see you there.
They look sweet and happy.
They do.
And clearly not informed of what was going on. So if the story that they are going to sell to us, that there's a threat, then we have to assume Erica was on the ground, right? On the ground in Georgia, something happened and she pulled out, but she wasn't. She was back home, which means that decision had to have already been made long before those students made that video. Yet Andrew Colvett is going to, as you're about to see, last minute on stage inform and surprise even the event planners with this message. Take a listen.
Uh-oh.
For those of you wondering why I don't have really flowing, long, blonde hair right now, so I'm going to address it right at the front. Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. But it underscores a larger point that she has received a lot of attacks from surprising places, perhaps. Tell us what you think about that. Some of the people that have made, part-time jobs out of attacking Erica, and this is the net result.
Oh my! Is the implication here
Yes,
that
that
it's
was
our
you.
fault? Is it my fault? Why do I feel like they're talking about me?
Marks. Yes. I was waiting for it. Ooh, what does Armand say? Spooked and nervous. We found out where that foldable AR came from, and now she's spooked and nervous. Booyah! Let's go.
Not here and come on, Beep. Come on. Explain to everybody how it's actually Candace Owens' fault because she's being attacked, more broadly speaking. What do I have to do with her going to an event? And by the way, this is weird, but I told you guys I'm aging. I am so old that I distinctly remember when the messaging was the exact opposite. They were sort of gaslighting us the other way. Remember, right after Charlie was assassinated, a lot of people were like, look, she's doing a lot.
She's doing a lot.
She's kind of just like doing a lot. Like, I would be pretty scared. Most of us, even people who didn't know Charlie, were scared to go out their door. The world felt less safe, but his wife was just fearlessly trotting through all of these events, attending, speaking, massive, sold out 21,000 spillover crowd at State Farm Stadium. Yeah. And the PR machine was like, oh, you noticed that she's doing a lot. Well, let's explain to you why she has no fear. Let me explain to you why she's abnormal. She just sits above you all. In fact, Erica Kirk herself jumped in, and this was the reason that we were given via her interview with Jesse Waters. Take a listen.
Do you feel safe?
I do. What are they going to threaten me with? Going to heaven sooner to be with my husband? And I don't say that to be reckless. I do not. I do not say that because I'm out in the streets like, here I am, come find me. And it's not at all. It's a fearlessness that's rooted in the understanding that I will have my day and my time, whenever that is. When the Lord knows that I've completed my mission. And I'm not afraid. Charlie wasn't afraid either. We never lived in fear. If we did, we wouldn't get anything done. And I can't help run alongside this mission of Turning Point USA and raise my babies with fear. I can't. That's not a life to live for anybody.
Oh, but now you've spooked and nervous.
So that was in her godlier than thou era, right? When we had, like I said, normal concerns. Like, hey, wouldn't you be...
But now she's spooked and nervous.
Good for your kid. No, Erica is on fire for the Lord, and that's why you don't understand it's supernatural, because the Lord is giving her this courage. So I'm just asking the common sense question, what changed 7 months on? What was the threat that Erica endured that was so severe 7 months later that she had to last minute cancel an event with the number 2 man of this great nation? What threat could be so severe that she didn't even trust that the Secret Service, right? The nation's Secret Service, the vice president, he just got back doing negotiations with Iran overseas. It has got to be a pretty good Secret Service. She did not feel that even they could alleviate it. Well, we can always rely on Andrew Kolbach to further illuminate matters on Fox News. Take a listen.
It was a really unfortunate experience for me too, just to have to watch that very difficult decision get made, which I think is the first time that we've ever had to make that decision in Turning Point history. But everything that happened with Charlie, obviously his assassination, we're still, grieving that. And you saw what happened with Savannah Hernandez, one of our TPUSA Frontlines reporters in Minneapolis. And to see the security team, tell us, we cannot guarantee your safety. We recommend that you don't do this. Was a really chilling moment for all of us to kind of have to internalize and experience.
So the security said it. Oh, okay.
Realize that Erica Kirk is, her children are one parent away from being orphans. And sometimes you just have to say, listen, right now, what's most important is your safety, is your security, and your children, your family. Let your team handle this. Let us do what we can do. And so, I obviously was horrified at the reason why, but I was honored to stand in and pinch hit for Erica last night. And I was grateful for the vice president to, that we didn't have to ultimately cancel the entire event. He was willing to do it with me, and it was very gracious of it.
But y'all didn't want to do that with Charlie.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just getting whiplash. I feel like that's what we were saying. Like, what could be more important than being home with your children? When she was just all on the book tour and Shabbat, we were just told, no, she's a brave soul. This is what she wants to do. And the worst thing was she would be reunited with Charlie. And now it's so bad that it's requiring a level of Hasbara, right? They're even going to bring in their Hasbara friends over at the Daily Wire to further substantiate the matter, because people are going, this feels weird. What could be so much of a threat that they just let the VP, Vice President of the United States, carry on with the event? People are noticing this doesn't sound right to us. And so, since Charlie's passing, the Daily Wire, always has the inside scoop on what's going on with Erica Kirk for some reason. And here's what they said on Twitter. They said, regarding the threats of threats to Erica Kirk that prevented her from attending today's events with Vice President Vance. A TPUSA official tells me that their security had been monitoring the situation in the days leading up to today's event. People were doxing her travel location and trying to track her arrival and departure, I'm told. And there were multiple direct threats against Erica specifically. This ultimately led to her security's assessment that they could not guarantee her safety. The event venue itself was fine, especially once VP was on site, but it was the travel portion that was the chief concern, the official tells the Daily Wire. Her children are one parent away from being orphans, and so we take the security's assessments and advice seriously. Okay, so a couple of things right off the bat wrong with that. Erica now worried about her kids. Yeah, okay. This feels like a level of propaganda that they have not hit before. You're also telling us now, because you're realizing they're always responding when the public doesn't accept the first sloppy meal that they try to feed us. They're like, oh, okay, no, you're right. It doesn't make sense that the VP would be able to attend this event and Erica would not. So let's switch gears. We'll say it was related to travel, that people were tracking her plane. Okay, people had been actually tracking Erica's plane since the very beginning. People were doing entire shows about where she was going and how much she was traveling and how ridiculous it was, and she never canceled a single thing. So that's just on its face not true. Secondly, if you're going to be a person who is a public figure and you are going to travel privately, as she does, then yeah, people are going to be able to easily guess which airports you're going to, which private terminals you're going to fly into. They're not going to know which FBO, but you're telling me, what is the threat? What could possibly be the threat to her travel? She flies in and she flies out in a private plane that they just could not alleviate it. What do they threaten? We're going to be at the FBO. We'll be at every FBO. We'll be at Signature. We're going to be at Atlantic. We will be there and we are going to boo you. What is the threat? Tell us more about this threat, which was specifically taking place with doxing her travel schedule. What does that even mean? Her event is listed publicly. People buy tickets, or I guess not buy tickets, but they register their tickets to go to these events for free. So you're doxing yourself in order to be a public figure that goes in a tour, right? If you're a singer, songwriter, you got to say where you're going. You're doxing yourself, but someone's tracking your plane.
Right.
Well, what is the concern there? That could not be alleviated. You couldn't have somebody on the ground just waiting there to make sure nobody was inside the private terminal, by the way. This woman does not fly publicly. Yeah, like I said, it had to have been something bad. I'm not buying this plane tracking excuse. It seems to me, especially they're mentioning the kids now. Every time they do that, they're basically using every tool that is not even available in Erica's emotional shed. So what actually happened? Let me back up here and give you some facts about the University of Georgia.
Let's go.
There are over 43,000 students that are enrolled at the University of Georgia. This event was, as you heard him say, scheduled to take place at the Aikens Ford Arena at the Classic Center, which is near the University of Georgia. The stadium holds just 7,000 people. So they were hoping, with an announcement that the Vice President of the United States was going to be attending, that it was a guarantee that they would be able to peel off something like 15% of the student body to attend. Okay. But actually, they need even less than that, because to make matters easier for them, they also opened the tickets, the free tickets, to the general public. So forget having to get
just UGA students.
15% of the student body to sign up. They just needed generally 7,000 people in the area that wanted to support MAGA and or the rock star widow, Erica Kirk.
Oh.
Reality?
I can't get this word, my God.
Nobody wanted to attend. The ticket numbers were abysmal. That is what happens, and I want you to know that that is what has been happening. So in the umpteenth hour, they decided to cancel her appearance. And here is the evidence of what that event looked like. Here's a tweet with an accompanying clip, which was taken from reporter Jake Traylor, who is a reporter with MS Now. Take a look at this tweet and the accompanying video of the auditorium. He wrote, "Turning Point USA seems to have misestimated crowd size for Vance. The Aikens Ford Arena less than 25% filled for the vice president." Now, he's assuming it's because of Vance, right? That people are not showing. Could be another reason. The person who was supposed to be there until the umpteenth hour, people could be turning down that particular opportunity. And I'm sure everything Vance and Trump are doing at this current moment isn't helping much either. In fact, it was so bad, right? The turnout was so bad that if we go back and re-watch that Fox News clip, they're actually showing you fake footage. Well, it's not fake footage, it's real footage, but it's fake B-roll because it's from old Turning Point events. This is how sloppy the Hasbro is. We'll show you this. We'll scroll here.
Never, and I mean never ask, how are you?
Oh, how are you?
How are you?
How's work going?
Hello, how are you?
Any plans for this weekend?
Not the venue. Not the venue. And yet in the corner it says Andrew Colvett via X on Tuesday because it says Athens, Georgia. This is not true. This is true propaganda. And we took a closer look at it, and they actually spliced together 3 separate events so that they could show something of substance when Andrew spoke. That is humiliating. That is humiliating. And he's there pitching a story, a sad story about why they couldn't do it because it's your guys' fault. You didn't keep Erica safe. Now, I am told by Turning Point USA college students and volunteers that this has been a repeat problem, that they similarly had a very hard time moving tickets for her event in Washington, D.C. with Caroline Leavitt. They just could not hit capacity. They never did, despite effectively turning these events. They're not even know why it's called a college tour anymore. It's just anybody in the public, general admission, that is willing to come listen to Erica Kirk speak for free, please come. They're going to eventually start paying people to attend these events, and they cannot sell out to even a small auditorium. And yesterday, it looks like, was the worst audience turnout in Turning Point's history. Okay, let me repeat that. Under Erica Kirk's stewardship, Turning Point USA is now facing a crisis. It is the worst turnout in the organization's history, even with a feature alongside the Vice President of the United States. Similarly, they had to move the Believers Summit, something that they advertised for last year. It was slated to take place back in October, but they could not move any free tickets. Erica knew that she was not coming long before Andrew Colvett made the announcement on stage. Yet, she did not make a statement herself until after the event began. What gives? Here's what she wrote on X. She retweeted a clip from the event, and she wrote this. I was so looking forward to tonight's event at the University of Georgia with our vice president, but after all our family has been through, I take my security team's recommendations extremely seriously. Thank you to our amazing Georgia chapter for your support. God bless you all. I can't stand the lying, the constant lying, and she is not being honest. Okay, she moves things off of her calendar. She will make it work. White House here over the weekend. She was at Bettina at Mar-a-Lago, the one who's marrying Don Trump Jr. She was at her bridal shower. Erica will be wherever it is that she needs to be. That is not the reason that she chose not to show up. And how do we know that this was not some last-minute cancellation related to a threat? Well, first off, common sense. I knew they were lying as soon as Andrew announced it on stage. Take it from someone who has endured a great many threats. The last thing you do is announce a threat on stage when one is happening. In fact, I have dealt with threats at Turning Point USA events where we have had to inform them, this guy who was completely insane and escaped a mental institution or he was a mental hold, and they didn't know where he was. They alerted us, and I was doing an event in Nashville with Charlie. We had to alert the security team. Nobody goes out and says, hey, Candace has a threat. That's why she's not here. And you know what? Would you like to, JD, let me give you the stage to blame everybody for her having this threat. That is so performative and outlandish that I instantly knew that it didn't pass the sniff test. But another way that we can confirm that we know this is not real and they're making this up is because Erica was also slated to speak yesterday at 1:30 p.m. in Georgia at a local high school. But she canceled that event, and she didn't cancel it last second. She canceled it the day before on Monday. Okay? So Tuesday, yesterday, she has a 1:30 event, and then she has an evening event with JD Vance. But on Monday at noon, she had already informed the high school that she was not going to be in attendance a full day before her last minute on stage cancellation of her event with JD that the students did not even know about. So she honored the high school students with information, but did not honor the college students with any information, making them look like fools outside. Okay. And how did they do it? They emailed and they texted and informed the parents at school that her appearance had been canceled, and they gave a reason, and that reason was not security. Let's read it together. Here is the text that went out canceling the high school event. It reads, first, you can see they set this event up on March 30th. On Monday, you can see that it reads, parent alert, due to scheduling complications, the optional Turning Point USA high school event scheduled for tomorrow, September 14th, has been canceled. We are sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused and are hopeful for other Turning Point USA opportunities in the future. Okay?
This incredible mold remover gel can restore your bathroom and tiles to their original shine in just 15 minutes. This incredible product eliminates stubborn mold and mildew in seconds without any scrubbing. Take any moldy surface, apply the gel directly, and watch the mold literally dissolve before your eyes. It's patented NanoNet tech.
A scheduling conflict. A scheduling conflict, not a threat, but a scheduling conflict. Now, if there were a viable threat, wouldn't it have been prudent to inform the administration of a high school? Even if it was an airplane-related threat that, it must be, if it's so serious, like someone's going to harm her, you tell the high school, hey, we have a very viable threat right now. We don't want to bring this to you. They were not informed that. They were just told it was a scheduling issue and there was not some significant thing that was pending in the background, which caused her to abandon her previous God's got me philosophy. So, like I said, don't you think her staff would have let the high schoolers know if there was a threat? That would have been the responsible thing to do. I am told the truth is, again, that there was immediate parental backlash already that kept happening because she was announced. And they basically said, okay, this is an optional event. It then ended up that there was going to be abysmal attendance, meaning nothing that they could record on social media to make it look like she's, got the crowd going crazy. And so it was nothing for her to look forward to. And so she skipped it. This keeps happening. Parents and students are organizing against her for a variety of reasons. Some of them, those reasons that we have laid out on the show, they do not trust her. They do not believe her. And I can provide more proof for you by way of a parental chat on Facebook that is currently going on right now regarding another event that she has coming up at a high school in Phoenix, right in her backyard, no less. And this is Pinnacle High School. The parents are organizing. Take a look at this chat. This is a parent that posted saying, I am very concerned, learning that Erica Kirk is going to be speaking. And then you can see an anonymous member wrote below, as a teacher, I find this highly inappropriate and a safety risk to our students and staff. Also, as a teacher, I know the district may care more about attendance more than anything else. So call your kids out of school and that will send a message. Ooh. They are basically 36 likes. Ooh. They are organizing essentially a walkout, a boycott of Erica Kirk. Ooh. Okay. I haven't reported on this stuff in the past. I've been very aware that this is going on. The reason why I am now laying this out today is because what enrages me so much about the messaging, the setup there by Andrew Colvett, is that it is akin to narcissistic abuse. They can never admit that they have failed or that they have done anything wrong. So what do? They tell the public that it's our fault. It's your fault. If this wouldn't happen if you guys would just stop criticizing her. That's completely psychopathic. We don't accept that. We reject that. Okay, no one does this. People cancel events last minute for a variety of reasons. He got drunk last night. He's hungover. Their PR comes out, makes an excuse. He had a mental breakdown backstage. We've seen a lot, especially in the land of rock and roll. Oh, I lost my throat. I lost my voice. I won't be able to sing tonight. Probably was partying. I want you to actually go through your mind of all the famous people that you know who have canceled events last minute. Yeah. When do you ever recall management coming out with messaging that implies that actually it's your fault? It's the public's fault. You didn't keep this person safe. They couldn't come out tonight because you failed this person. Well, that's exactly what the messaging was, and you should be infuriated about it. It is ridiculous. They are now paying influencers. Oh, if only everyone would just leave her alone. No one would track her plane. What?
Right.
Do you not think people are tracking J.D. Vance's plane? Elon Musk took his notoriously off of something. Taylor Swift. People get their planes tracked all the time. By the way, there's no remedy for that situation. What's the future remedy? We're just not going to announce when we're just going to pop up and surprise people. The messaging was crappy. I am so sick of there never being an adult in the room that will just come out and say, as a leader would, you know what? Ticket attendance wasn't great. We want to remedy that in the future. We want to figure out what we can do, changes we can make so that we can establish Erica as the new leader of Turning Point USA. You know, they're still getting to know her. That's responsible messaging. But these guys, it's your fault. And shame on JD Vance for taking the bait on that. In response to Andrew Colvet's questioning, he's going to lecture us. He's going to come in and he's going to lecture us. Take a listen to what JD Vance has to say.
Again, if your instinct is to go after not the left-wing radicals who are assaulting Savannah, or not the people who shot Charlie Kirk, but if your instinct is to go after a young mother because she's grieving in a way that you find you find wrong, well, why don't you stay in your lane and mind your own business?
Yeah, amen.
Grief is complicated, and
Grief is complicated.
And so. There's another angle of this, Andrew, which is just so absurd, which is that, people will say that, Erica, she's been doing this or she's been doing that, and I would be doing something different. And it's like, first of all, that's fine. Like, if you want to criticize somebody because you have a disagreement, disagree with my politics, disagree with something that Erica or Andrew say on the Turning Point podcast.
We do.
But this desire to go after her for the way she's grieving her husband, that's the most preposterous thing I've seen in a very long time. And I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in politics.
Julianne.
Okay, first off, we do criticize them all the time for what they say on the podcast. Literally. The whole public has been doing that actually since everything happened. Please stop saying this repeat phrase that everyone grieves differently. It doesn't matter how many times you say it, it doesn't make it true. Okay, you can't just say stuff. Everybody grieves differently. Yeah, no, for sure. Everyone that I know does this. No one. That's why it stands out to people. And people go, this is strange. Most people would fear going out. They would want to be closer to their kids. Stop trying to constantly feed us this slop. But the audacity to say something like he just said, he said that it was the most preposterous thing that he has seen in politics in a very long time. People criticizing Erica Kirk. That's the most preposterous thing he's seen in politics. Very long time. Disagreeing with the new CEO and chairman. This is not just a widow. This is the new CEO and chairman of TPUSA, a position that she did not earn. Disagreeing with nothing that she has done warrants her being in that position. And that to him is like, whoa, I can't believe people are doing this. I've seen some preposterous things just over the last few weeks in politics that should probably rank higher on your list, okay? Like when you guys blew up that school, 150 Iranian schoolgirls were killed, and then you lied about it. That, to me, feels a little more preposterous. I mean, it was not just even 2 days ago that Trump said that he thought Jesus was a Red Cross doctor. That was a little preposterous. Y'all just out here lying about things. I don't know, the Epstein files? Did you have time to go through that, Mr. Vice President? Nothing in there ranked more preposterous for you than us criticizing Erica Kirk? How about Trump just generally attacking a pope because he's calling for peace?
Right.
How about Trump saying that Brigitte Macron is hot? That was pretty preposterous. That she's got it. It's not even close. The literal ticket you guys ran on was calling for peace. Now you're attacking the Pope, or Trump is attacking the Pope because he's calling for peace. That feels pretty preposterous. Going to war with the explicit aim of opening the Strait of Hormuz, which was already opened before you began the war, is pretty preposterous. Gas prices right now are pretty preposterous. Us criticizing a grieving widow who can't keep her story straight about anything.
Did you hear about the new trend called soap nails? All the beauty media are talking about it. Ultra shiny, natural and healthy looking nails, the Clean Girl manicure is trending. I wanted to try it, but my nails were in bad shape. So I looked for a polish that would give me that soap.
No, that shouldn't even hit your radar. So please do not lecture us, JD. Do not, okay? The lecture that is coming from you is exactly why we don't like Erica. Because we see it for exactly what it is. It's elite. She has money and connections. She can call Vice President J.D. Vance. She can get the Secretary Scott Bessent to issue a letter on demand, demanding you stop looking into their finances. She can get Trump to say how much Charlie loved her in his Easter speech. It's the balcony approach that makes us sick. We feel it. You guys looking down in the crowd like we're animals and you're somehow more dignified. Okay, Mr. Vice President, respectfully, our friends aren't in the Epstein files. And I have enough common sense to know that the reason we refer to it as common sense is because it's shared amongst the commoners, us, the majority. And right now, the left and the right, the internet, we have correctly identified the nature of your friend, Erica Kirk. So please, I beg of you, we are 7 months into this thing. Please do not give us more Fed slap. We have had our fill. And if it is truly your desire to transform hearts and minds about Erica, might I very humbly suggest that you start with a story that makes sense about September 10th. What happened? One that doesn't feature magical bullets and Superman necks and trannies that write out entire confessions in the spirit of a Jane Austen novel, my love. One which doesn't feature company employees who witnessed the shooting and for some incomprehensible reason neglect to call 911, but instead rush to remove cameras within minutes. That would be my advice. Rather than lecturing us from a balcony, string together a coherent story and a timeline for the commoners. Please and thank you. Anyway, moving on from that, on to some other things that are happening behind the scenes. Essentially, Turning Point is now just in the business of creating an illusion. And by an illusion, I mean that even when they are posting events of her being greeted at events with thunderous applause behind the scenes, you should know that middle schoolers and high schoolers are being forced in some scenarios to sit in these events. It's mandatory. Okay, they have no option. So remember when you went to school and there was assembly? When you had to go to assembly in the middle of the day?
Yeah.
That is the state of affairs at Turning Point USA. They are the administration, it's an assembly. Surprise, Erica Kirk is here. And they're like, look, the auditorium is filled. I guess to keep it real, if I was in high school, I was really bad at chemistry. If he offered 5 extra points and was like, Candace, you can bring up this really bad grade that you got if you go sit with Erica Kirk in the assembly right now. Or after school. No, I still wouldn't do it. But I'd think about it. I don't wish them bad. I just wish them truth. I want them all to stop lying about everything and anything and thinking that a J.D. Vance or a sprinkle of Trump is going to change things. Please stop abusing the public with lies. And already, since more things are leaking, Andrew is commuting the story. Right. Yesterday it was, this is happening because of the people back at home. Now he knows stuff is coming out about the high school event that was canceled on Monday, but he's trying to fit it into this puzzle, trying to make it work somehow, that he announced it on stage suddenly that Erica wouldn't be attending. And here he is on Charlie Kirk's show this morning with their latest excuse that's dropping. Take a listen.
Obviously, the big part of the news was that Erica she canceled her appearance at that because of security threats that were made against her. It was something we were, monitoring for days before the event. We actually had a high school event that was planned to be before the college event in the area that we had to cancel a few days before because of the increased online chatter that we were monitoring. Our security team, I should say, was monitoring. And so we thought, we got the Secret Service, everything should be fine at the main event. But what ended up happening, and I have to be somewhat careful here because our security team does, obviously wants to be a little bit circumspect in the way that we talk about this because we don't want to give the bad guys any more ideas. But it was a situation where they were trying to dox her travel and monitor her travel, suggesting different ways that people could attack her. And it was something we were actively trying to navigate and change itineraries, move locations. Nobody wants to live that way. It was a terrible experience in many, many ways, and I feel terrible for Erica. And ultimately, when you're in that moment and the security team looks at you and says, we can't guarantee your safety, at some point you just have to say, we'll do this a different way.
TurboTax locations are now open in your neighborhood. So, hand off your taxes to an expert today.
Tough job, Andrew. It's truly a tough job that Andrew Colvett has. I just gotta keep up with the crowd and pivot the stories, try to make it make sense. The plane, there was a threat, we tried to move the FBO and charter a different plane. You don't know the tail number. What were they sharing? I was just like, what are we talking? You guys have multiple planes. Turning Point USA. Oh, it just was a threat. We just can't tell you too much. We can't tell you, even though we announced it on stage. We know that people are asking for more. We just want to honor the security, and these threats are very serious. And that's why when Charlie multiple times texted me and the security team the day before saying he thought he was going to be killed, we don't like to talk about that. We don't talk about that threat. That threat, we don't want to talk about. This one, we want you to know it's your fault. So don't criticize Erica. Yeah. Emotionally manipulative, narcissistic. I reject this, and you should too. Anyway, we are going to be back after a brief break with an update regarding Pastor Victor Marx. He responded, and it's interesting. We'll be right back. All right, you guys, you know I love Nimi Skincare. A lot of people are starting to look for more natural skincare options, especially with ingredients like tallow. But not all tallow products are the same, and some can feel heavy, greasy, or just sit on your skin without actually helping it. What makes Nimi Skincare's Sunshine Tallow Cream and their Buzzin Tallow Balm different is that their tallow closely mirrors your skin's natural lipids. That means it absorbs more effectively and actually supports your skin barrier instead of just coating your skin. Nimi pairs this ancestral ingredient with clean, modern formulation standards and purposeful botanicals so that your skin feels nourished, protected, and comfortable, not weighed down. It's a natural approach, but it's done thoughtfully, gentle, effective, and designed to support your skin the way it's meant to function. If you've been curious about tallow, or you're maybe looking for a more natural skincare alternative that actually works, this is a smart place to start. You can find it at nimiskincare.com, and if you want to try it, you can use my code Candace10 at checkout for a discount. That's NIMI skincare.com. I also want to remind you guys about the Wellness Company because in 2025, the cancer research global spend was $356 billion. Big Pharma's cancer drug revenue increased by 70% in the last decade. Meanwhile, cancer rates in people under 50 have doubled. Whether it's because of vaccines, our lifestyles, or the environment, one thing is clear: we still don't have affordable or effective treatments. This is where the Wellness Company steps in to help you own your health. For example, the gold standard Parasite Cleanse, which is ivermectin and methimazole, has shown success in triggering cancer cell death, which wakes up the immune system and initiates an immune response while hindering blood supply to tumors, and it also halts metastasis. At the Wellness Company, you can order it right from your home. The USA compounded, doctor-prescribed ivermectin and methimazole designed to help the body eliminate parasites with proven off-label cancer-fighting benefit. All right, you guys, Pastor Victor Marx, what can I say? He was a difficult subject to cover. A lot of editorial decisions had to be made. Because there was just so much. There was just so much to choose from. And I want to be clear, the information that we got about his biography, that came from Victor Marx. We could have put together tons of clips. He tells his story many times, many ways. And we just were like, okay, let's try to reduce this to the facts about his life, who his father was, who his stepdaddy was, the things that he has said. And we didn't even include stuff going on with his family, his daughter, very public back forth that went on where she was accusing him of abuse, and there's a lot of that. And then she retracted her statement after they began speaking again. And okay, we're like, okay, we don't need to include that. We didn't include the young woman who alleges that Victor Marx kidnapped her from Canada. She's the people had her on the shows, and she discussed how she was kidnapped. But there was a lot going on with Pastor Victor Marx. I think it is fair to suggest that he has a checkered background, and we have never received more emails and more tips about anyone. Actually, in our tips inbox, it was a recurring theme. You need to look into Victor Marx, Victor Marx, Victor Marx. Victor Marx allegedly was the first person who announced that Charlie Kirk had died, and then he deleted that post. I remember that from all of the things that were happening. It was like, why did Victor Marx announce it first? And then he deleted that post. So, yeah, I think we did a good job. It's kind of sizing.
No, remember, because Terrell Farnsworth was the first person who announced it. Remember when he jumped up on that ledge and he slid behind that building and he was recording his little selfie? It was Terrell Farnsworth that had actually said it first.
Down to the relevant portions of what these pastors seem to get up to. I don't even know where he pastors. Right. Where is he a pastor at? I think that was one of the points that was raised by Corby Hall. It's like, I realize he doesn't have a church. I don't know why he says he's a pastor.
Right.
And I don't know why Erica can't make normal friends. None of my friends have these sorts of backgrounds. And they're not the people that I would want to see in the event of an emergency. But like JD said, she be grieving differently, y'all. She be grieving differently. Anyway, so Victor Marx clearly saw my episode very quickly. and he took to both his Instagram and X to issue a very quick response. A little weird. It's weird.
What did he say?
Let me know if you think it's weird. This is what he said.
What did he say? Oh. Oh. Child, you know it gets serious when we come on and take them glasses. Hold on just a second, ma'am. Settle down, sir. You don't scare nobody.
Well, alrighty then.
Well, alrighty then. Okay. Let's get it on.
Love you, Candace. Let me know when you want me to come on the show. Praying for you.
Okay, but like, why do the glasses have to come off? Why do we have to go all like Clark Kent about it? Well, alrighty then. Give it to me again. Well, alrighty then. Give it to me one more time. I gotta watch that again.
Well, alrighty then.
If you bought Earth Breeze because of me,
what is all that? Whoa,
see, there's something I probably should have.
There.
Well, alrighty then.
Well, alrighty then.
Okay, can we have a DJ booth going where we just like get these sounds that we like? That's a bite. That's a bite. If I just need to have that little whenever I'm feeling alrighty then. Anyway, I don't know what the point of that was, and he then published, "Oh, I've been accused," or in this episode, this is what he suggested, buddy. You can't be accused of what you're telling us your bio is. Now, I read Corby Hall's statement in its entirety, fleshed out what he had to say, felt like he was a very honest person. And again, he was ready to come on the show and discuss everything, bring all of his evidence. So my instincts are usually right about people, and my instincts about you were that, I don't know. You had supplements that you were doing with David Harris. David Harris calls God Papa. I don't know. And he, like, you guys said that, like, the supplements were going to help human sex trafficking victims. It's too much. It's just too much. Okay? My senses, my spidey senses say no good. Anyways, I obviously responded instantly. I wrote this beneath the post. We are actually going to have Corby Hall of Fold AR on, and he is game to do the show with you. I am happy to have you both on if you agree. And Corby Hall said, yeah, I'm good. Let's do this. He actually suggested it, Corby Hall. He said it because he saw the post first and said, I would 100% do this face-to-face. Like, he's very serious about what this man did to him. And like I said, he has all of the evidence, so it wouldn't make sense for me. I couldn't rebut anything that Victor Mark said about Fold AR. We were already going to have Corby. Let's make this happen. And so because I wanted to make sure that we could establish a date, I instantly then reached out privately. I will show you guys that. I wrote, hi, Victor, give me the best number. We would love to set it up. Corby Hall is completely game to join. Best to have him there since I read his letter and he has the proof, etc., of what you wanted from him, plus the prayer that you prayed over him. We have we hit go on today's episode, not heard back from him. I don't even see that it's read. He may not have read receipts on, but I obviously responded exactly where he posted the video. We will keep you posted, and I am totally game and very interested. Finally, we got one of these pastors on the hook. I want to reel him in. I want to reel him in and talk about his relationship with Turning Point USA, how he got found as a pastor, Calvary, what goes on near that military base. It feels to me like a whole military operation, I'm going to be honest. We've done episodes. We have done our due diligence on Calvary Chapel as a whole. I find it to be problematic, but that's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that we then were hit with another wave. People emailing us from Turning Point USA, inside and outside. I love this, just so you know. We have people that are saying that they will get jobs at Turning Point USA just to give us information from the inside. We have people volunteer. They're like, I am going on an interview. I reply, they want me in. I will be a mole. Like, that is how the world feels. They are willing to go to work to get information. It makes me happy and it makes me smile because that is the influence that Charlie Kirk had. Like, that's incredible that people are willing to do that for him. But anyway, people are still on the inside, and people who were fired also informed me that, there's other people that have trafficking history that are involved with Turning Point USA. And in particular, there is someone who openly discusses the fact that he used to traffic arms. I'll say allegedly, but this is apparently something he's very open about around the office. He's very close with Andrew Colvett. That's what I am told by, again, both current and former Turning Point USA employees. His name is Marcus Wada. Okay, here's his bio from Turning Point's website, which is interesting to me already. He's the senior productions director. Marcus Wada is the director of strategy of productions at Turning Point USA. Marcus has spent a decade in film and television production, working on films that were internationally distributed and television shows such as Miss Universe.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a connection there. Marcus worked to raise financing for films and producing films. He left Hollywood to work in the conservative movement, producing and directing Turning Point USA's documentary series, Border Battle and the Great Global Reset. Well, apparently he also, which I wouldn't put it in my bio too, to be fair, regularly tells people his testimony about how he was involved in trafficking arms in Poland. Poland, where are you at? I saw you in the chat. Someone said, watching from Poland, and I said, ooh, you guys are getting name dropped today. So yeah, he used to be involved with trafficking in Poland, but then, as the story always goes, he found God. I am just so pleased to hear it. I'm so pleased to hear it that so many people involved with Turning Point are able to find God. Turning Point USA is out here, I guess, just finding employees and partners in a manner that is unique.
They don't want you to know how toxic this is. If you're buying produce from the grocery store, you need to see this.
So first step is add clean water about 3/4 of the way up. Next, throw some salt in.
Growing it in the backyard?
It is unique, I would say. It's like a mesothelioma commercial. Or you or someone you know involved in trafficking, give us a call today. There may be a place for you in our faith department vibes, right? So then I found out via these employees that Marcus Wada also says that his brother is still involved in the game somehow, in the industry, in some way. Is it charitably? Is there a difference? I can't be sure at this point. Anyway, I did end up finding the guy. I'm prodding that narrative. There seems to be something there. I'm assuming it must be a half-brother because he has a different last name, and this guy's is Jewish. And he runs a consulting company that consults in human trafficking. What can I say? It's a big industry, you guys. And I want to be clear, these people are not involved in the trafficking. They are charitable and want to alleviate this global circumstance. And these people also, you know, have histories, but I don't know, guys. I didn't even know you could consult in those things. I thought the website was made up. I was like, what does this mean? You're consulting in drugs and look at this industry areas. National border security, money laundering, human trafficking, sex trafficking, firearms and ammunition. Controlled substances. Okay.
Management and
what does it mean to
prevention.
consult
Right.
in it? How do you consult in it? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm an old dog that can't learn a new trick. That's my problem. But I am good at spreadsheets. Not so great at Excel, but I know how to put together a timeline and spreadsheets and to organize. You guys should see my pantry. It is ridiculously organized. Okay? And I did put together, you guys saw this earlier, the connecting themes spreadsheet because we kept seeing these recurring themes. And I did not use Excel as it should be used, but I did put together these columns, and it's the trafficking and sex abuse. I should write charity to make that clear. It's getting pretty long, you know. Derek and Shalane Maxfield, that was that plane that left and went to Page, Arizona that day. They run a child abuse charity. A trafficking charity, Sapria, Colonel Otto Busher, obviously the Romanian instance with Erica, all surrounding what happened at the military base. And he worked with Romanian Angels, which was her charity. The civilian commander stationed at Fort Huachuca, charged with running a child sex abuse ring, Turning Point USA Faith, Greg Glory, whose church, Erica went right on tour with him. Harvest Church is currently being accused of trafficking children from Romania. Okay, they are fine with that partnership. George Zinn, our decoy boy, was arrested for having pornographic images of children on his phone. Andrew Piscadlo, that was the person who was detained that day, works to ring the alarm on military Ukrainian sex trafficking in the United States. Calvary Chapel Church is obviously riddled with pastor abuse stories. That's an aside, a Rob McCoy aside. Glenn Beck, Tim Ballard, that's Operation Underground. Tim Ballard using every tool that is...
Crap, that was me. Sound like Christian. He stays saying that.
Erica Kirk says that she lived in China and worked with child sex trafficking victims, but she's mum on that now, tight-lipped, does not want to talk about what charity that was. No one seems to be able to find it on the internet. You know, she was living in, was it Chongqing? Am I saying that right? Chongqing? I think it's spelled Chongqing. Maybe it said Chongqing. That's interesting. The TVUSA advisor, Paul Vallely, retired Army general who ran psychological operations and co-wrote the book with Michael Aquino, the Satanist and founder of the Temple of Set. I didn't know Satanism had a great schism, but they did. Some people thought that Satan was an idea. Some people thought that he was a real person. And so the Temple of Set was born out of Satanism. So you guys know if you're not up on your Satanist theology. Anyways, not a bar for entry as an advisor to Turning Point USA. He was accused, and I'm referring to Michael Aquino, was accused of abusing children at Army Child Development Centers. Victor Marks, as we learned, runs a charity for child sex abuse. We got to add his pills, too. With the, what are the pills, that he's doing with David J. Harris, that a portion goes to help sex trafficking victims. Nelda Buckman, the number 1 donor to Turning Point USA, is extensively involved in rescuing children that are being sexually abused and trafficked. The backstory that she gives was that her first husband, this is her story, her first husband cheated on her with like a lot of women that were in the industry, and she was angry about that. But then she realized that she wanted to understand these women, and that brought her to the trafficking industry. And now she has a lot of angels. This angels, Texas Angels and Austin Angels. I can't remember all of them, but that's another connection here. And now we have Marcus Watt.
Oh, I don't even know how Candace just ran past that. Her first husband kept running into, cheated on her. Hold on. Cheated on her. You can't make this
involved. I should probably change that to more responsibly say formerly involved in trafficking arms in Poland, according to Turning Point USA, current employees and past employees. So we can just update that spreadsheet.
Oh, I wanted to learn about sex trafficking because my first husband, he cheated on me. Kept cheating on me with sex traffickers, so
just so I can say that clearly. Formerly involved, Marcus Wada. We just kind of type that as a note. Yeah, we'll live edit that just so that doesn't get misunderstood from the public. Formerly, comma. He's not formerly Marcus Wada, guys. No, he is Marcus Wada. Was he formerly Marcus Wada? I don't know, actually. People change their names. Nothing would surprise me. Maybe he is formerly Marcus Wada. I think we're having a little bit too much fun today, guys. It's just like, the stories are just getting they're just so ridiculous. What can I say? What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? We will be right back after a quick break.
Yeah,
why does black mold always come back? No matter how hard you scrub, you spray, you bleach, you scrub until your arms ache, and still, the black stains creep right back. Sprays slide right off in seconds. Bleach only whitens the surface, leaving spores alive underneath. Scrubbing requires hours of effort for results that never last. That's the cycle millions of American families are stuck in. And it nearly drove one chemist, and father of 2, over the edge. Michael's shower was coated in black mold that refused to bud.
All right, you guys, do you owe back taxes or maybe have unfiled returns or have filed every year but still keep owing? Maybe you retired and suddenly got hit with a tax bill that you didn't expect. Maybe you pulled money from... Oh, right.
How does your husband keep running into sex trafficking?
Guys, I see someone in the chat was like, he does not look Polish to me, Marcus Wada. Well, it's on his LinkedIn. He lived in Poland, so he just speaks Polish. I don't know. I don't make these rules, guys. I just research and listen to the people and present it to the public. We do have some new merch available on the website. Best way to support the show, best way to support independent thinkers. We love being independent, obviously. You can head to CandaceOwens.com and buy yourself some kit, buy yourself a hat. We really like our Make America Christian Again hats. I think they're just really beautiful. The green ones, nice color. and it's sophisticated. It looks like a bag up, but it's actually got a cross on there because I feel like that's the direction that we're heading into, and you can kind of feel that unity happening now, and specifically, especially with us kind of attacking Zionism and what it is, and it's never had anything to do with Judaism. It's just a brainwash slop that has been sold to Jewish people that they have to defend this radical state. So that's my personal fave. I think that you should just buy that right now. I'll wait. Everybody go buy that right now. Tons of other stuff available on the website. Top comment from last episode, Jared Johnson wrote, Erica is the kind of friend to steal money from you and then pray that you find it. That one took me out yesterday. Because I feel like you hit the nail on the head. Erica is the kind of friend that will steal your money and then pray that you find it is like, Jared, you win every award. I laughed out loud when I read that comment. Yeah. Pray for you. Oh my God, you listen well, honey? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm going to pray for you. I pray the Lord finds it, you know? Elizabeth Brown wrote, she didn't know how to play the part of a human being. She's quoting me, exactly what woke up everyone. Yes, so if you're paying attention to J.D. Vance, there is such a thing as having a spiritual intuition about things. It's what keeps you safe, being aware of something about this feels off, and that is...
Couldn't spell. I couldn't spell. Let me see who said this. Wayne W. Dyer. Who is Wayne W. Dyer? I like that quote. But I typically try to... give me a second. Give me a second. Florence! Oh, honey! Oh my God! Come! I got you for tomorrow. Oh my God, you guys! Florence, she's made it! Oh my God! Oh, I'm so blown that was my reaction, and I'm live right now. That's so crazy. Oh, that just blew me because I forgot. I'm live, but that was Florence. Oh, my girl. She wrote the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. I think I read this book maybe every 2 years, give or take. It's like a free book. You can download it like PDF and stuff like that. The Game of Life and How to Play It. Oh, my. When I tell you, Florence knocked that book out of the park. Let me see if I have... Oh, she just got me so caught off guard with it. Let me see. It actually might be on my calendar. Like I had... You know she got it. Oh, she got it. I have a... She gets me every time. That doggone Florence get me every single time. Let's go to take two. Let me see, because I do. Okay. So this is, I wrote, I mean, you know, you be reading a book and I have a tendency of like notes. I have to just take notes. Get all out of my business. Goodness. I have to take notes when I'm reading, or else it'll like throw me off and stuff like that. So this is The Game of Life and How to Play It. And this is all the notes that I took. Oh, like, I love that book. Oh my goodness. I didn't even read the quote. I just saw Florence. And I was like, intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain but simply points the way. Wow. I hear Koa. Hold on. I must be talking loud. Let me go get this guy. Let me go and get him. He literally woke up as soon as I logged out last night. Literally. Let's see what he wants. Bah. Just, cover up. No, I had to go give him some breast milk, so. What's my water? Thirsty. Let me finish with Candace. She was done.
Something was not tracking, and then when she wasn't behaving the way that she should behave, you guys basically told us that we were crazy for noticing that, that she had no fear, and now you're flipping the gear. You're just completely doing a 180 now and saying she has fear. Come on, guys, just stick to a script. Stick to some form of a script. Okay, comments on today's episode. Smith writes, did JD just slip up by saying that the people that killed Charlie? I didn't even catch that he said that. And I do believe that there were people involved, multiple people involved in killing Charlie Kirk. And I do not believe that it was Tyler Robinson alone on a rooftop. And so we're going to continue to read the court documents and stay on top of them and force them to be honest about things for a change. CC writes, it's extremely nuts to be screaming, make heaven crowded, while canceling appearances because of a threat. The irony of Charlie still making his event after telling people that they were trying to kill him. Go home and be a mom like Charlie wanted. Ooh. You just can't have it both ways. You don't get to be a public figure and to say, I don't want to have any attention, but I do want to be the CEO and the chairman of Turning Point USA. It's always like they are the people that present the problem. And then when everyone's like, okay, well, you're the person, you're the one that brought the public into this, they go, oh, no, never mind. I just want privacy. It's giving Meghan Markle. Do you know what I mean? Ooh. Like, I want to be the princess, but I also want privacy when I want it, but I also want Netflix cameras when I want it. Ooh. Life just doesn't work like that, okay? You can't take us into the casket and then pretend to be aghast when people ask you where you buried him. Did you bury him? Ooh. Do you think that they cremated Charlie? I ask myself that question, right? I ask myself occasionally whether or not they cremated Charlie, because that is starting to make sense to me that they would do that. Wow. I don't know, because now she can't share the details because she says people are going to come and try to destroy. I mean, I can't think of a single figure that's deeply hated in American history that has suffered having people go after the gravesite, and I genuinely, that's just not a thing that people do, right? I'm sure they do in extreme circumstances, but that doesn't feel right to me. There's something very strange about that. And similarly, it's like she wants to be the grieving widow. She wants to be treated like a grieving widow that's taking care of her kids, but she's boss babying it. And she's making decisions, and she's reversing course on the things that Charlie believed, and reversing course on the things that she alleged that she believed when Charlie was alive. And people are going to call that out, and they have a right to call that out. And so I encourage people to continue to do that. If she doesn't want to play the role of the CEO and chairman, she's welcome to step down. Okay? Mm-hmm. She's more than welcome to step down. And then she will not have to deal with the day-to-day criticisms of how Turning Point USA is being run into the ground. But otherwise, put on your big girl pants, so to speak. Sarah Miller writes, loved ones of missing and murdered people regularly get dissected in their interviews with the press for how they are grieving publicly. I guess you are only allowed to grieve differently when you're a part of the Epstein class. It's bogus. Yeah, that's completely right. People absolutely tear apart people every second of every day, especially given the size of this case. And as I said earlier, their inability to just string together a comprehensive story regarding what took place on September 10th. They're relying on us to accept make-believe. This is a fairy tale story. And then they're like, well, why don't you believe that Rudolph had a red nose, Candace? Why don't you believe that he was carrying Santa's big butt all across the North Pole? Like, I just don't believe that, actually. And how could you not attack that? And it's godly, and it's this, and the Lord, and then it's suddenly not the Lord, and they have real concerns, and it's just all over the place. It's very sloppy. Caroline writes, Candace, please let me help you with your Excel. I can do wonders. No, I am just using it to organize the columns. I am ignoring the rows. We are just doing the columns on connecting themes because I was like, I could make this in Word, but why would I when Excel has already made this for me?
What's up, guys? My name's Sean with Portland Gear, and today we're going to be going over our best-selling Cascade backpack in standard and compact.
It's nice, too. Oh, she nice. I done had a diaper bag look just like it. With the back,
so as you can see, we have two sizes of our backpacks here. This is our standard size, which
never used it, and it got stolen out of my car.
Ew.
Shit happens.
Yeah. We're keeping that forever. In fact, I am inspiring an entire generation to misuse Excel spreadsheets. I'm very proud of myself. Jolie writes, TPUSA is no longer considered to be Turning Point. It should now be known as Trafficking Point. It's topsy-turvy point. It's tumbling point. It's certainly not the organization that I knew, that I supported, and that I loved. And it feels like it's been infiltrated by Zionists. I think from the very beginning, we felt that. I think that's honest. That's a fair take. And even in there, like I said, there's this like bizarre partnership that they just keep having with the Daily Wire. Like we know what the Daily Wire is. So when we see that, we go, that's weird. Why? That's strange. And we have a right to comment on that and to recognize that. Lastly, Granny Manny writes, they were screaming for your arrest and worse on X last night. I could not believe how hostile it was. Love you so much, Candace. These people are insane. Like, if Erica literally like fell and scraped her knee, if she did what I did and she broke her foot, they'd be like, this is Candace's fault. That's what they want. They're trying to create that environment. And so we need to be conscious of that. Okay. Everything we have done on this show has been fair. Charlie Kirk was murdered. We are being lied to about the details surrounding that murder. Right. And I granted her grace beyond what the internet was willing to give her. She lied to my face. She has lied multiple times, and the lies are inexplicable. They won't clarify any of these lies. They are pretending like she's too busy, like she's some grieving, powerful widow behind the scenes. She's not. Actually, she plays very nasty, just so you guys know. Here's a fact. Erica personally made phone calls trying to get people not to go to the Catholic event that I spoke at the other week. Okay? She plays dirty behind the scenes. The people who were fired told me who was behind this PR push. Erica was behind this stuff the entire time. So you can completely miss me. I don't play that way. With me, you get what you get. I'm going to say it on my show. I'm not going to wheel and deal. I'm not going to call a PR person and be like, could we get this article? Could we try to see if we can get Candace canceled from this event? Could we try to see? It was sold out. The event was sold out. And it's because I don't play that way. I don't have that karma building up in the background. I don't have to worry about, I don't treat people that way. I'm always upfront, and I was upfront with her when I sat down with her, and she lied. Okay? So she got onto my list of people that I find to be suspicious because of her own actions and her behavior and her lack of interest in the very many holes in this case, her anger at Joe Kent for trying to investigate foreign involvement. Who do you think is orchestrating all that? Does it sound to you like Andrew Colbert has a brain, or that there could be someone more conniving behind him? I offer you the latter. Okay. Ooh. It is definitively the latter. I will leave it at that.
See you tomorrow.
I guess that's it for today's comments. We will see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Okay. I'll be here. I'll be here. He did, I heard that. He did, I heard that. I appreciate him. Covering that case. Because he did OD. What is this doing?
All right, boys, get your fuck ass off, all right? Welcome home. Time to be boys to men. And when I tell you to do something, you fucking do it. Welcome to the new YN Nation. Get your ass off the truck. Now, I don't want to hear shit you got to say. You want to be bad? Grab a bag. Nah, fuck you. I don't know who the fuck you talking to, but you better grab that goddamn bag. Y'all want to shoot now? You can shoot. Y'all want to fight? You can fight. Y'all want to use them switches?
You know, watch it on my own time. He doing way too much cussing for me, honey. Sorry. What is Drewski doing? Oh, that's all. Okay, I'm finna get up out of here. I ain't finna be doing too much. I ain't finna look at Baron. It's lie. They are lying to your face. Ooh, let me jump in real quick, real fast.
All right, so this is Ridge's MagSafe card holder. Snaps on cleanly and just holds your essentials without adding any bulk.
And I rarely ever catch him lying.
Hold that against people. Everybody's trying to find the truth and going where the evidence takes them in their mind, and I'm okay with that. Thank you thank you for all you do, guys. Thank you for all you do.
He's finna go.
Thank you for showing up night in and night out, hanging with me for 4-hour shows. That's
3.
incredible. Don't forget to like, subscribe,
Yeah.
click the notification button, share it with your friends and family. And as always, the most important thing.
Let me back up. Okay,
He looks
he going
younger
through
every year to
the
me.
comments right now. Okay.
Just came to say the Grinder comment was one for the books. I literally laughed out loud. Always excited to watch it. Hit the like button. Love y'all. Yeah. Some other people on Instagram, some other people on TikTok, they've gone far enough to say, here's who did it. Here's how they did it. Here's the mechanism of action. Here's what went wrong. Here's what moved under his shirt. Here's what we got palm gun people. We've got microphone people. We've got necklace people, all of these. What I do instead is say, hey, these theories are circulating. Let's look at them. What do we think about them?
Sure.
Let's community weigh in. What do you think you see? And ultimately, if I say something like Andrew Colvett, I believe, was on an airplane earlier than he leads people to believe he was on an airplane, it's just I believe that. It's my opinion. I'm looking at a set of facts. I'm looking at airplanes coming and going. I'm looking at what appears to be, in my opinion, a fraudulent itinerary, or at least a fraudulent document that would never prove what plane you were on. And so I mentioned it. Here's the document, but I don't believe it. And I hold my opinion. I'm subject to being wrong on that, of course. Let's just take that one example. If Andrew Colvett comes to me and says, hey, here's a document that proves I was actually on a later flight. Great. I'll be the first one to correct that. Next show, I'll lead with it. I'm going to pull up the document you gave me with your permission, and I'm going to explain why I got it wrong. I have no shame in that. This is not about me batting 1,000. It's not me trying to be a prediction machine. This show is not about that. This show is about me trying to get the right answer. And along the way, I'm going to pull up documents, and I'm going to give you my opinion. I probably went a little more heavy on the what I intended to cover at the end, but I'm so frustrated with people trying to act like we're out here lying on purpose. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. What it is gaslighting. And we're going to talk about that. My open is on gaslighting. I'm just going to spill the beans right now. I've been wanting to do this for so long. I've had the skeleton of this, the outline of this open in the tank for a while, but I haven't had the perfect night to do it. Oh, I do now. Because last night we were gaslit. We were gaslit. It's my opinion. The person who claims to have stayed home last night was actually in Athens, Georgia. I'll show you why tonight. I think that. I believe that person was in Athens, Georgia. I don't think they were there at home. I don't think there's a security threat. I think that we were gaslit. And they gaslit on Fox News, and they gaslit on the stage last night, and they've been gaslighting on X through all their little circuits all day. I think we're being gaslit. But that's my opinion. That's just an opinion. I have a right to my opinion. I have a free right to state my opinion. I'll provide evidence of why I think that. I think it's compelling. I think you might also share my opinion by the end of the night. I think I'm going to put together a pretty good case tonight that she was in Athens. It wasn't a threat to her travel. It was a threat to her reputation. That's just an opinion.
Oh.
But we'll get to it.
We'll
get to it and more. But I want to give you my opening statement because it covers this issue, I think, relatively nicely. If I do say so myself, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to have to go get my salad because I had got some Zaxby's earlier, and Baron looked like he's near the salad. Just hold on. Ooh, Baron. He said, I believe my niggas was in Athens last night, matter of fact. It wasn't me. It wasn't just me. It was Cole too. Ran through the last of the black eyed peas and rice. And I didn't have time to cook me anymore. The next lima beans and rice. Butter beans, somebody. And I didn't have time to cook me some more rice and beans. And so what ended up happening was, now that I got this Zaxby salad, I have no beans and rice to go on top. I did earlier, it was like a little bit low. But I usually have like a section, I don't eat the whole salad.
Oh,
just
without further ado, and without holding you much longer, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the like button right now. Do it right now. Just don't forget. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, you ready? This is your opening statement.
Let's go.
Gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious and disgusting forms of psychological manipulation in modern social interactions. It leaves the victims of gaslighting questioning not just their memories or perceptions, but the very foundation of their reality. The term, of course, has exploded in popularity in the last 10 years or so. It's often invoked in discussions of emotional abuse, narcissistic behavior, or coercive control. However, the roots of gaslighting stretch back nearly a century, and its effectiveness lies in exploiting deep-seated human vulnerabilities.
It's cold.
Understanding its origins, mechanics, and power reveals why it remains such a potent tool for control, and why recognizing it is essential for self-protection. The word gaslighting comes from a 1938 British play titled Gaslight by Patrick Hamilton. In the story, a husband named Jack Manningham secretly dims the gaslights in their home while searching the attic for hidden jewels. When his wife Bella notices the flickering and comments on it, he flatly denies any change. He insists she is imagining things or losing her mind. Over time, he escalates the deception. He starts hiding objects from her. He goes as far as to accusing her of theft. He stages events to erode her confidence. The play was adapted into films in 1940, and most famously, the 1944 Hollywood version starring Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer. In the movie, the husband's gaslighting drives the wife to the brink of institutionalization. The phrase gaslighting itself did not appear in the original play. It didn't appear in any of the films. It entered the psychological and cultural lexicon decades later. Its first use was by anthropologist Anthony Wallace in a 1961 academic text. He used it to describe manipulative tactics that induce self-doubt or even psychosis. By the 1990s, columnist Maureen Dowd employed it in the New York Times. The mainstream surge came in the 2010s amid rising awareness of emotional abuse and online discussion about toxic relationships. Today, publishers have even added it to the dictionary. They generally define it as a psychological manipulation over time that causes the victim to question the validity of their own thoughts, their own perceptions, memories, and sanity, often leading to confusion, eroded self-esteem.
3 bra mistakes women over 50 make that actually age them. First, wearing bras with flimsy straps. As we age, breast tissue gets heavier and softer.
Or argument. Rather, it is a systemic and sustained campaign of denial, distortion, and deflection. The gaslighter systematically feeds false information or withholds truth to destabilize the audience's sense of reality. Common tactics include outright denial, such as, that never happened, you're imagining things. Or trivialization. Someone might say, you're too sensitive, it's not that big of a deal. Or countering, where you say, you always remember it wrong. Or even withholding, I don't know what you're talking about. More sophisticated versions involve enlisting third parties. Everyone agrees you're overreacting or projecting blame. Or someone says, you're the one manipulating me. Gaslighting thrives because it is gradual and it is relational. It rarely begins with overt cruelty. Instead, it exploits an existing bond of trust. Picture romantic love, friendship, or even authority. The victim initially believes the gaslighter has their best interests at heart. The foundation makes the manipulation feel credible. Over weeks or months, repeated contradictions create cognitive dissonance. We've been talking about this lately. I'm building on it. For example, the victim knows what they saw or felt, yet the person they rely on insists otherwise. To reduce this cognitive dissonance, many begin to internalize the doubt. They assume they're flawed rather than confronting the deceit. Its effectiveness stems from several intertwined psychological mechanisms. First, humans are wired for social validation. We crave it. We constantly minimize prediction errors. And prediction errors are these discrepancies between expected and actual reality. We humans do this to maintain a coherent worldview. Gaslighters corrupt this process by manufacturing violations that the victim cannot reconcile without surrendering their own perceptions. Recent neuroscience research shows this can literally rewire brain pathways. It fosters habitual self-doubt and heightened dependency. Second, gaslighting isolates the victim. Gaslighters often discourage outside contact. They frame others as unreliable. They don't want you to listen to dissenting opinions. Without external reality checks, the victim's sole reference point becomes the gaslighter himself. It's not the first time. But the PBD podcast is outlining what alter legislation in the state. Is he enriching himself at the expense of the taxpayer? But when it was all said and done, we went to lunch, and I told him the same thing I'm telling you right now. I said, Mike, the only thing I ever wanted to do, actually, I think I said Mr. Speaker, even though he'd long been out of office. I said, the only thing I ever wanted to do was be right. And that didn't, by when I say that, I don't mean that I wanted you to be a criminal. I meant I wanted to say the right things. When I was on air and I was talking about your case, I wanted to make sure I was accurate. And to the extent I wasn't accurate, I wanted to be corrected. So I offer this to TPUSA. Tyler Boyer, I know you have my number. If you ever feel like I've gotten something wrong, tell me. Tell me. Now, I might ask for documentary proof. I might ask for some sort of documentation. Don't just call me and tell me Andrew was on a later flight, because I don't believe he was. Tell me why you believe that. Give me something. I'll be happy to make the correction. I'll adjust my entire timeline. It might affect the outcome of my research. It might affect my conclusion of who was involved and why. But if you're just going to gaslight me, if you're just going to provide fake documentation, if you're just going to call me evil, if you're just going to threaten to do this or do that, or try to get you shut down, or mass report, or try to take your law license, if you're just going to do all that kind of stuff, hey, I'm retired from the practice of law. I have zero, well, I can't say that right now. I actually still have one active case. I have one active case right now. It's a case that's been going on for the better part of a decade. It's just lingering. Other than that, I'm retired. I don't want to, I mean, obviously, you like to keep your law licenses, but ultimately, go to hell if you're going to say that stuff. If you're going to try that stuff, go to hell, Gary. If you're going to come out there and tell me I'm dishonest, buddy, give me a reason why you disagree. I'll change my mind. I will change my mind. But don't just gaslight me. Don't just say I'm evil. Don't just say I'm not drinking the Fed slop narrative. Just don't say I'm not eating it like Alpo. No offense to the people at Purina. I'm sure Alpo's delicious for dogs. It's just not bad for humans. Not for human consumption. Don't eat it. Give it to Fido. I'm so irritated with these people and their lies. And I want to go through tonight why I think they're lying about what happened yesterday. For those that don't know, and I'm sure you do, there was an event scheduled with EK and the Vice President of the United States last night at the University of Georgia. The Vice President of the United States showed up, and to his credit, even though he looked humiliated on stage, even though it was a horrific night for him, not his finest hour, he was hung out to dry by somebody I believe was there, who was gaslighting us, saying she wasn't there. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Whatever, who cares? If I'm wrong, tell me. But I want to go through it, because I think by the end of this, you might agree with me. You might agree with me. First thing I want to show, though, is that I'm in holding the position I have. Here's my position. Kids need to be with their mom to the extent possible. I hold that position. I think, you know, obviously some mothers are unfit. That's an exception. But when the mother's alive, when the mother's around, the kids need to be with the mother. The second part of that is some people can't do every job. You know, your mom lied to you when you were a kid. You know that? Your mom probably told you could be anything you wanted when you grew up. Not an English professor, that's for sure. When you grew up, your mom said, when you grow up, you can be anything you want. You can be at NASA, you want to go be an astronaut, little Johnny? Have fun, go be an astronaut. That's a lie. You want to be in the NBA? Ooh, you better learn how to dribble the ball well. Probably not going to make the NBA, kid. Got bad news for you. Unless you're like freakishly tall and you can jump in abnormal ways and you are stupid fast. Then even then, it's like a 1 in 100 chance you're going to make it. Can't be in the NBA. And some people aren't cut out to be the CEO of a major organization. They're just not. They're just not. Their personality isn't cut out for it. Their personality isn't cut out for it. And so I want to show a clip. This goes back, I believe, several months. This is the PBD podcast. The PBD podcast. What they're showing on the PBD podcast is Vinny's interpretation of what should happen. Now, keep in mind, it's April 15th now. Tax day. I hope you paid your taxes today. My accountant called me yesterday. I almost had a stroke. But it happens. It's not the first time. But the PBD podcast is outlining what they believe, or at least what Vinny believes, should be happening right now. And this is months ago. This was right after this town hall meeting that was on CBS several months ago. I want you to hear what Vinny has to say, because I think I agree with him.
And then he goes on Pat to add, like, condemn. The conversation is about this, about, you know, conspiracies and all that stuff. And you're going to bring the guy that was asking her husband a question to try to condemn Trump. They can't help themselves to make it about Trump. But the people that are like, you know, leave Erica alone. And I just want to say something. When you're in front of a camera all the time, you have to know, if you don't want the heat, stay out of the kitchen. This is 2025. People are going to judge. Look at us. I work for Mossad, Tom's whatever, Qatar. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. But at some point, it's like people are analyzing this, and it's the talking, the looking up to heaven. It's like, and by the way, if you're going to cry all the time, with all due respect, take your makeup off. Take your makeup off. And it's like, if you don't want it, stay away from the camera. Okay? And I get it. You went from the wife, now you're the CEO in the chair. Like, that's a huge jump. And I just have one question, Tom. Real talk, Pat.
I don't even ask this question. I mean, it's not that I'm hiding it from you. I just don't think it's relevant to the discussion, but
attention fitness lovers. This is one of the biggest sales ever.
That's what really be blowing me.
Paleo Valley's Black
Friday slate, but
sale is here, and it's your chance to grab your favorite bone broth protein at 50% off. Yes, you heard it right, 50% off. Here are 5 reasons why you need to start taking Paleo Valley.
It's not tax policy, federal spending, military spending, requirements for health care. It all goes into politics. And there are largely two sides of politics. You got the Republicans, you got the Democrats, you got the independents, but they only can vote for one of those two options. And so when you take over as CEO for an organization that's going to play a large role in determining which of those two groups has power and has the ability to dictate who lives and who dies. And this is serious business, folks. I say that jokingly all the time, harkening back to Trump. But this is serious business. One of those two parties is going to dictate which countries we go to war with and when and why. And how many people we kill, how many schoolgirls we drop bombs on. It's life or death. One of those two parties is going to dictate, how is your health care covered? Is it covered by tax dollars that we all pool together and try to reduce the risk pool across the board? Is it going to be private pay and whoever's rich can get good health care and whoever's poor, well, you're due out of luck? One of those two parties is going to determine what kind of teachers your kids have, how many resources they have. One of those two parties is going to determine what you're allowed to say and not say. Whether you can own a gun or not own a gun. This is real world. And if you want to be the CEO of one of the most influential political organizations on the right, it's a blood sport, baby. It's a blood sport. And if you're going to cry, you're not cut out for it.
Ooh.
You're not cut out for it.
Ooh.
I never saw Tim Phillips cry when he lost races or someone said mean things about him. And I promise you, your humble host included, people said mean things about Tim Phillips back in his heyday. I wasn't a fan of the AFP. I thought they were doing more harm than good at the time. But he didn't cry about it. He didn't cry about it. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Go away. This is what...
Is that Rosa in the back?
Everyone's wanted from the beginning. It's a disgrace to the legacy of the guy who built the organization. Somebody built that organization from the ground up, a group of people, but it cannot withstand what's happening to it right now. I want to go back to the PBD podcast because there was a later, this is in March, that last one I think was like in November. Here is a quote from March. This is one of their people. PBD's a mainstreamer. Like, he's not a nutcase.
Yeah.
He's not on the what I call the insurgent wing. Candace, Barron, Ian, others. That's the insurgent wing. This guy is not on the insurgent wing. He's a mainstreamer. I want you to hear what he has to say.
The look on your face is the look on your face of, I don't know if I agree, but there are good points being made, and this could be a real threat. The reality of it is, what if the conservative movement and the conservative party gets too cocky? This happens every single time, no matter who is the number one. Anytime somebody wins, they automatically think they have it unlocked. They do not. By the way, here's the other thing for you. I don't have anything against Erica Kirk. I don't. Erica Kirk and I have spoken 2 or 3 times high-bye, and one time a text exchange. Very cordial, nothing crazy, never had a phone call, never had a conversation. Not going to make friends saying this. I think Turning Point USA needs a better face. I think Turning Point USA needs a better face. I think she can be chairman of the board, but I don't think she's CEO. I think Turning Point USA needs to go hire a recruiting firm, vet them out by the right voices, a good board, a mixture of people from different conservative sides. I don't know who the board is today. I don't know who the board is. I can't say if they're pro-Israel, pro-Christian, pro-this. I don't have a clue sitting on the board. But they got to hurry up and find somebody. Because there's only a couple of these events you can pull. You invite everybody, and then it becomes a show. There's not a face. It's just a show. If it's just a show, it's another thing. I think there's chairman of the board. There's COO operations that's aligned with them, but they need a person that's going to go out there doing the work. She's not going to go on campuses debating. That's not her job. That's not her natural place to be. She can go to churches and do all the stuff that she's doing great. They truly need to make a decision because TPUSA is a very important arm of the young conservative movement. This has to continue in a very different, intentional, strategic way. They got to hire a firm, sit down and say, how would you do it if you were us? They got to go through an operation where they look at different candidates and look at what it looks like and create an element of building up to somebody in there.
I agree.
That's a good point. That's a very valid point, and I appreciate the fact that, you sat back and brainstormed on it. Like, nah, you ain't cut out for this, honey. Not picking up where he left off. You're trying to make this your own little thing, honey. And it's like, no. This was Charlie's legacy. And you can't just try to come in mid-shift and then try to, like, make this your little shindig. I'm like, honey, no. You gotta go.
I agree. They've got the wrong person at the top right now. That's it. That's it. That's my beef. That's it. That's all I care about right now. I want to know who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why.
Right.
That's a totally different inquiry into who leads TPUSA.
Right.
That's a totally different inquiry.
Right.
You can't have the face of one of the people. You can't have the face of one of the organizations that will help pick who is the next president of the United States, who's going to be sitting in Congress, who's going to be sitting in the Senate. You cannot have that person be that incompetent, that emotional, canceling in a huff on the last second. And I do believe it was last second. I think you'll agree with me by the end of the show. But here's how I want to set it up today. Andrew Colvett did a Fox hit this morning.
Oh, yep.
Andrew Colvett did a Fox hit this morning. And on the Fox hit, let me try the time stamp right.
I lied. I'm probably end up eating this whole salad.
On the Fox hit, you have a clip from last night where J.D. Vance gives an indication of when the decision was made that Erica Kirk would not be there. I want you to listen to it, and we're going to do a little math. I want you to listen to it, and we're going to do a little math. Here is that Fox hit, or the clip from the Fox hit.
Which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country.
I love Erica, and I know that she did get some threats. I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erica was not going to come, and she was very worried about it. And I talked to the Secret Service, and I said, you know what? Let's let Erica do what she needs to do for herself and her family.
So the man on stage.
What you heard there was a bunch of clips put together to act like it was one statement. It was not.
Right.
They left out a key part, and they left it out over and over to the point where I believe they didn't intend to let it out of the bag left.
They just kept clipping. I'm like, whoa.
And they did. Now I'm going to play you what it sounded like on stage last night, because this was a different statement than he just gave. Here is how he said it last night. This is different. Keep in mind.
Well, first of all, I love Erica, and I know that she did get some threats. And, about 2 hours ago, Andrew, I was
about 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago.
I'll let him finish, but hold on to that in your head. About 2 hours ago.
a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erica was not going to come, and she was very worried about it.
So the Vice President of the United States,
about 2 hours.
About 2 hours before he was talking, was worried they were going to have to cancel the event because Erica wasn't coming.
Right.
Wouldn't he have known that if she didn't fly to the event? Wouldn't she have at least told the Vice President of the United States, hey, I'm not able to make it tonight? I won't be there? What?
Versus...
These flaky layers don't pull you in. This silky chocolate and 18 grams of fiber definitely will. This is the hero pain au chocolat. It has...
He said that at 5:47 p.m. Eastern Time. 2 hours before that would have been 3:47 p.m. You know what his plane started doing? And we'll look at this tonight. You know what J.D. Vance's plane started doing at 3:47 p.m.? It was flying from Washington, D.C. to Athens, Georgia. 2 hours to the minute before he uttered that statement, his plane started circling randomly on the way. And it circled for 31 minutes before they decided to continue on to Athens.
Wow. Look, that Baron is certified. Because he was the one that had got that shadow from that random person that was walking with the maroon shirt and the book bag. 7:30, 8 o'clock that morning on their way to TPU. UVU.
This is the Vice President of the United States. Trains run on time. They hadn't invented it to. Why was the Vice President only finding out 2 hours before the event that they might have to cancel it because she wasn't going to be there? The plane that left from Scottsdale to go to Atlanta or go to Athens left at 8:50 a.m. Scottsdale time. That'd be 10:50 a.m. Eastern time, Washington, D.C. time.
So
why is the Vice President only finding out at 3:47 when they start circling as if they might be going back?
Right.
And here's the thing with circling. You don't put a protectee of the level of Vice President on the ground somewhere if you don't have to.
Right, and just
It's not safe. Every time the Vice President's feet are on the pavement, he's at risk. Just the nature of the job.
Sure.
President, Vice President, probably more than any two people in America. They're at risk every time their feet are on dry ground. One of the safest places they can be is in the air, and the proof of that is anytime there's a threat to this country, they put one of them in the air. They go up in a plane and they circle. Very safe place to be. Now, does that mean Erica was on that plane that left Scottsdale at 8:50 a.m.? Maybe. I don't know. Could have been Andrew. Could have been the sponsor who was there. We'll hear from him in just a moment because he does something that also gives us an indication she, I believe, was there. We'll talk about that in a moment. There were actually 3 important planes that flew in that day. One from Scottsdale, one from Florida, and one from Washington, D.C., the Vice President's plane. We'll come back to all that. I want to get to this in order. I'm getting a little out of order here. So I apologize. You guys saw this. We have a pic of the stadium that might have more to do with why our humble head of TPUSA didn't want to be there. Here's a pic of the stadium as they were getting ready to go hit the stage. It's a 7,000-seat arena. Fits another 4,000 on the ground. You can put 11,000 people in this place. There were about 1,200, maybe 1,500 tops in the facility. 10-15% full. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That is what it looked like. Here is some real video from someone who was there. I'll play this on mute because it's kind of the noise is sort of obnoxious, but let me play this. Just a 10-second clip here. Look at that.
Ooh.
That is anemic.
Ooh. Ooh, wow.
That is absolutely anemic.
Not anemic. Not anemic, Barry.
But I want to go to the first person to speak at the event last night because he thanks Erica. He thanks Erica. And I want you to see what he does when he thanks Erica.
Oh.
You know, if someone's in the room with you and you thank them, you look at them. If someone's not in the room with you, you don't look at them. You can't because they're not there. I want you to see how he thanks Erica Kirk. I want you to see how he thanks Erica Kirk here.
I'd like to take a moment to honor Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. Their belief in why Refi has meant the world to me and our employees. Charlie and Erica believe not just in what why Refi stands for, but our mission, our approach, and the impact we make. Erica continues to support and inspire us every day to keep pushing forward and fighting for the idea that everyone deserves a path to redemption and prosperity. So Erica, thank you.
Ooh.
Did you catch it?
Ooh.
Did you catch who he looked at?
Ooh.
When he said, so Erica, thank you?
Ooh.
We'll have to listen to it one more time. Watch him. I won't stop it so quickly this time. Watch him when he says, so Erica, thank you.
Charlie and Erica believe not just in what why Refi stands for, but our mission, our approach, and the impact we make. Erica continues to support and inspire us every day to keep pushing forward and fighting for the idea that everyone deserves a path to redemption and prosperity. So Erica, thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you for your friendship and believing in why Refi. And to everyone at Turning Point, who I've kind of become very good friends with a lot of these folks.
He did glance.
So Erica, thank you.
Who
the hell are you looking at?
Right.
Who are you? Who's over there? She's not supposed to be there. Who are you looking at?
Who's from Cuba?
You don't look over like that when you're talking to someone. If they're not there, that makes you crazy. And I don't think that guy's crazy. He seems like a perfectly decent businessman.
That damn Barry.
So Erica, thank you. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. Stop it. Wait, why, Erica? Why are you waving wildly like that? Shh.
You so damn funny. So Erica, thank you.
If I look irritated, I am. I'm tired of being gaslighted.
Yeah, look.
Tired of being lied to.
We love it.
Tired of being lied to.
We love it.
Go through the timeline. He started talking at 5 o'clock Eastern time. At 5:17 and 52 seconds, Carolyn Maddox, the UGA TPUSA president, kicks off the event. She talks for 4 minutes. No mention that Erica's not there. No mention at all.
Oh.
The lieutenant governor of the state of Georgia, Burt Jones. That's a southern name if I've ever heard one. Hey, nobody in.
He's running for governor for Georgia right now.
With a better name to be elected than Burt Jones. Burt Jones, the lieutenant governor of the state of Georgia. He speaks for 5 minutes at 38 after. No mention of Erica not being there. And it's not until Andrew walks out with the vice president that we get our first indication that she's not. So I want to show you what this looks like, and I'm going to give you not my final, but one more piece of evidence that I don't believe for a second Andrew left that day intending to be on the stage. Here's what the scene looked like. Andrew's a smart guy. He's a good-looking man. He's been around politics a long time.
What he got on?
I find it personally impossible to believe he is going to interview the...
Here's the truth about compression socks that companies don't want you to know. Truth number one, most compression socks are just tight socks.
It doesn't fit.
With that giddy up?
He's got on black pants and a blue blazer. Unless you're in the military, that is an absolute no-no. You cannot do that.
Ooh.
You cannot walk out on a stage in black pants and a blue blazer.
Oh.
Period. End of story.
Oh.
He has no tie.
I ate it all.
He has no tie.
Uh-oh.
No tie at all. That might not even be his shirt.
Ooh.
His collar looks like it has not even been ironed. My friends, if you're going to interview the Vice President of the United States, you match. You wear a tie and you iron your dadgum collar. You throw in a medium starch. You make sure that points. You put in some collar stays. Get you some stainless steel or brass collar stays. Get you a little medium starch. If you don't know how to work the iron, have the missus hit that thing a couple of times before you throw it in.
Not missus.
But he would never walk out of there in rolled up black pants, a navy blue blazer, an ill-fitting navy blue blazer, a shirt that doesn't work with no collar stays and no starch. To interview the Veep? Are you out of your mind? Look at him on the Fox hit the next day. He looks twice as good. Why? He's gotten back home.
Right.
He's hit up his closet. He's aware he's about to be on television. You tell me you have more respect for Bill Hemmer on Fox News than the vice president in person? It's absolutely nonsensical that this man left the house thinking he was going to interview the vice president.
Good point.
Nonsensical. This decision was not made, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, this decision was not made before they got there, which means she was there.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Oh,
in my opinion, she was there.
Mm.
Now, one can only wonder why it is she decided to not go on the stage. Was it a setup to humiliate the vice president? He's not exactly happy with her. I mean, her donors are not exactly happy with him these days. I saw Mel, the great tweeter, Mel the crazy lady. I follow her on X. She's hilarious. She made a great point today. At AmFest, they were all in on JD Vance. JD Vance has not towed the company line since then, and a lot of the donors might not be on his agenda, might not be on his side. So that's option one. I guess one option, she pulled out at the last minute to humiliate him. Option two, they looked at the ticket sales. They looked out at the crowd. It was a terrible visual. If you want an image of someone having completely wrecked TPUSA, put her on that stage and take a wide angle from the back. There's no energy. There's no enthusiasm. There's no attendance. It's an event completely open to the public. Any Tom, Dick, or Harry could have signed up to go in there. They did not. Contrast that with what took place in the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk's untimely passing. They were rock stars. She wore black leather morning pants, if you remember, and she went out on stage, and she at the University of Mississippi, and there's a whole to-do, and there were standing ovations, and the place was packed. You can't call it a regional thing. Ole Miss is basically Georgia. They're the same type of school. Southern in culture, Southern and conservative. Maybe they made the decision putting her out there would be damaging to the career. That's option two. And option three is, frankly, the best option, I think. Because option three is somebody at TPUSA finally came to their senses.
Oh.
And they finally said, look, and I mean, it could happen at the last second, but you can't go out there. You are such a disaster everywhere you go. No one's buying the shtick anymore. We got to put other people out there. Give Andrew a shot, see how he does. We've thrown Blake out there. We threw Jack Posobiec out there. We've thrown a few other people out there. We got to find the right guy who can go on these events and keep this thing going. I think the days of these college stops are about over. I think they're about over. They're not doing the tent events anymore. They can't get anybody with Charlie's intellect and speed and wit and likability to sit under a tent for 2 hours in the blazing sun at college campuses all over the country and interact with teenagers, basically 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They can't find anybody like them. Trust me, if they had one, they would. They don't. So they're not even doing those anymore. But the idea was, we'll skip those and we'll do fewer events, but we'll do bigger events. Well, that's not working. That's not working at all. And so someone could have come to their senses and done away with it. But I want to go to the focal point here, and I'm going to go back and continue proving why I think she was there. I have more, believe it or not, I have more. More than what Andrew was wearing, and that's about as compelling as evidence as you're ever going to find. That he did not intend to be on the stage with the vice president. Look at him. The guy. I'll be honest. No, this is not gay. He's a fantastic-looking human being. He dresses impeccably well when he's on camera. He is sharp. He's stylish. His clothes look good. They fit. He would have. I bet you he is humiliated today, having been on the stage in that getup. I would be. And I sit on the camera 4 days a week in a hoodie. I'd rather be on the stage in a hoodie than black pants and a blue blazer. Mr. Vice President, I'm known for Adidas hoodies. This is what you get. I've even got Adidas joggers on, Mr. Vice President.
Hey.
That's just who I am.
Right.
Before you catch me in black pants and a blue blazer, an ill-fitting dress shirt with no starch in the collar and no collar stays, no. That's not going to happen. Give me a hoodie. Someone run down to the local mall and grab an Adidas Essentials hoodie. Stat. I got my dress bands on. The Vice President's here, after all. I don't remember where I was going with that. I don't. Oh, yeah. Look, here's the reality. They want to blame Candace and podcasters. They want to blame Candace and podcasters for this type of anemic turnout. No. You know who did that? You know why no one was there?
Yeah.
Drewski.
Oh.
Drewski.
Oh. Well.
She will never recover from the Drewski hit.
Oh.
It is. Now you have to be a little older. I remember this because I was a kid, but you have to be a little older to remember this.
Okay.
It's Michael Dukakis in that stupid helmet in a tank. It's John Kerry in his biohazard suit looking around. I gotta find it. Sure. John Kerry in biohazard suit. I mean, you can't become president once you're pictured. Oh, let me go to images. I just gotta find a good. Yeah. You can't become president if it was pictured like that. That's the Drewski moment. That's his Drewski moment, and Drewski probably wasn't even alive. He probably was, actually, but he would have been very young. That's the Drewski moment. Let's see if I can find the Michael Dukakis picture in the tank. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is great. Oh, man, they put it behind a paywall? A 40-year-old picture? Or whatever? 38-year-old picture behind a paywall?
They don't want you to know how toxic this is. If you're buying produce from the grocery store, you need to see this.
This is Michael Dukakis in a tank. See that? He was relentlessly lambasted for that. Just like John Kerry was for this. her Michael Dukakis moment wasn't even her. Well, I guess it was. It's all those weird eyes.
Right. Too. Yeah, that too. Look at Barron.
I think that's Drewski. I promise you, more students at the University of Georgia have seen the Drewski skit than have seen your humble host, than have seen Candace Owens, than have seen Coach Colin, than have seen anybody.
Barron. Don't
Ian
forget
Carroll.
you.
No, nobody's seen these people. A few here and there on college campuses, maybe. But not thousands on every college campus. Are you out of your mind? You know how many of them seen the Drewski skit? 100%. Now, maybe there's some foreign exchange students who barely speak English. They're over here on a Chinese visa or something. Maybe they haven't seen the Drewski skit. But even them, I bet they have. I bet they've seen it. It was ubiquitous. 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 It was everywhere, and it was devastating. And when somebody gets dunked on like that, you're not going to show up to see him speak. That's basically you getting dunked on. Oh, you're going to see the person Drewski dunked on? Doesn't work that way, friends. Doesn't work that way. So I want to show you a picture from this weekend.
So glad I caught him.
This was, let me isolate it. Try to keep as much of these people's information out of it as possible. This is a picture from this weekend at Mar-a-Lago. This is Erica Kirk in the background. These are some of her friends, and they are at either a bridal shower. Bettina. They're at a bridal shower for Bettina. So she was in Florida this weekend. Well, we've already identified one plane that left Scottsdale in the morning. There was another plane that left. Where's the Florida plane? Right there. There's another plane that left. No, it didn't come up. Oh, please. Give me the, just type the tail number out there. I'll find it. Okay. There was another plane that left, that same area and went directly to, and I'm hiding the tail numbers because everybody's freaking out about the tail numbers right now. So don't look at the tail number. Actually, the tail number's not on there. Just call sign. Okay. There's another plane that left that area and flew to Athens. Well, here's the interesting thing. This plane lands in Athens in time for the event, a couple hours before the event. So you have Air Force Two. You have, it landed at 3:37 p.m. 3:37 p.m. Lands on the ground. The plane we just saw that left Florida, where she was, and went to Athens. The interesting thing about that plane is then it leaves and goes to Scottsdale. Almost as if the person in Florida lived in Scottsdale. So you have the plane, Air Force Two, which leaves and flies and at 3:47 starts circling for 30 minutes. You have that plane, which lands at 3:37. You have the other plane from Scottsdale to Athens that landed at 3:37, basically the same time. And you even had a plane that flew with the vice president for some reason. It's called SAM 2A. I don't know who was on SAM 2A, but SAM 2A flew and landed about the same time. So you have these four planes all coming to Athens, all presumably for the same event. The only one who was in Florida was Erica. And if that was her on that plane, and I think common sense sort of tells me I believe it was, if that was her on that plane, what's the security risk? You're already there. You flew out of where you were. You landed where you were going to land. The vice president's coming. Jump in the car with him. He landed about the same time. I mean, all these planes landed within like 10 minutes of each other. Jump in with the vice president, and you've got Secret Service protection all the way there. Or get a police escort. I mean, I don't believe there's a security threat. I don't believe there's a security threat. Here's the thing. If you don't want people tracking you, fly coach. I mean, you don't have to spend $80,000 on a round trip to Athens and back. I mean, you can. They did. You don't have to. I mean, you can get a ticket from Delta for like $800 and fly coach. No one will know where you are. There's no planes to track. But I'll say this. No one's tracking planes. No one's prospectively tracking planes. It's impossible. You don't know what plane they're going to be on. But what you can do is look after the fact and say, where have they been? Where have they been? And that's important to me because I am trying to keep accountability on the TPUSA side and keep a running tally of where they're going. And more importantly, how much is it costing? Like these little high school events, okay, you're going to go talk to 20 people at high school. If that costs you $80,000 in travel expenses or $100,000 in travel expenses, is that a wise use of nonprofit money? that a wise use of untaxed money? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. But maybe they do. Maybe they do. So that all those planes leave within a few minutes of each other. They all arrive within a few minutes of each other. They all leave within a few minutes of each other. There's one plane that hangs behind, and it leaves the next morning. We know Andrew wasn't on that plane because he says that he arrived back in Scottsdale last night. It was a late night. He also was on a Fox News hit on the ground, presumably, not in a plane, while that plane was still in the air. So we know he wasn't on that plane. I think it's safe to assume he jumped on that other plane that left about the same time as the Air Force Two left. So they arrived together, they leave together. But the key is Andrew could not have arrived on that plane because that plane came from Florida, where Mar-a-Lago is, where Erica was. So I think they're lying to us. I also noticed this. This kind of goes to my theory that they're dumping Vance. You remember not terribly long ago, we made a big deal about the fact that somebody had registered, we didn't make a big deal about it, but we commented on it, about somebody had registered the Vance Kirk 2028. Remember that? Check it.
Did you know a new heating and AC system in the greater Atlanta metro area could cost you just $110 per month?
Of 2026. Rubio Kirk 2028 was registered on March 15th, 1 month ago. We were a month into the Iran war at that point. Now, what about without 2028, just rubiokirk.com? That was registered the same day. Oh, hold on, make sure that's right. I think it was. Yeah, that was registered the same day, March 15, 2026. And so it raises the possibility, JD, that you're being dumped. You've been dumped. We know that she likes to dump people when they've had their moment. Like she liked to date the basketball player up until he got cut from the Pistons, and then she jumped over to a minor league ball player until his career sputters out. Then she jumps into Manhattan real estate or Manhattan whatever she was doing up there. So we have this idea that she will ride a train up until it's kind of begins to sputter and then jumps off onto another horse. So I just wonder, is that part of it? Is that part of what's going on there? I do want to do the FFL thing, just that one document. Daisy found something interesting. Candace yesterday did an absolute dismantling of Victor Marks. I can't imagine anyone in Colorado who sees that show will ever vote for that man. I mean, just completely dismantled him. Tore him limb from limb. Victor Marks amazingly responded. It was like, oh, hey there. You want me to go on your show, girl? It was a weird response. Like, of all the things you could say, the last thing you want to do is say something creepy. Like, you've just been dismantled. You've just been identified publicly as one of the weirdest and most horrific human beings I think that's ever lived. You've put yourself in really weird places. You've got in really weird situations. You've got a guy basically accusing you of doing the most bizarre things imaginable. And you respond with kind of like a, hey, girl. No, creep ball. No creep ball. Get back. Back away from Candace. She's our queen and she's our principal.
Ooh.
Get back.
Ooh.
You're not allowed to take your glasses off and talk in that voice.
Ooh.
Back off.
Ooh.
But Candace made an interesting observation is that this guy likes to buy a lot of guns. And what does he do with them? Like, how does a private citizen buy 50 guns at a time? And so we went looking, and what we found is he has a Class 1 FFL. Lots of websites you can look this up. This is one that we were able to redact his personal information out of. You will find the Class 1 designation on some of the other websites. But trust me, if you look him up, the Victor Marks Group LLC in Colorado Springs, where he lives, you will find he has an FFL Class 1 license. What that means is he is a licensed firearm dealer. He is a licensed firearm dealer. Now, I don't know about your preachers. I've had a few over my year.
Bingo. That does make sense now, don't it? As to why the hell he was down there in Haiti. That does make sense as to why he was down there in Haiti. Bingo. I knew Baron be having them damn gems. He be having the gems. Clip me, please, Baron.
I don't believe any of them have been licensed firearms dealers.
Bingo.
I've had a lot of political candidates that I've been around. I don't remember any of them being licensed firearms
licensed though?
But we'll see. We'll see. The question is, what is he doing? What is he doing as a licensed firearm dealer?
Trev.
What is he doing? What?
Don't start. Allegedly.
Gosh, I gotta be careful what I say here.
Look, me. I had to allegedly my son to bed. I'm like, oh shit.
I think it's impossible at this point. Again, I go back to what Candace showed today on her show, which was, I think, remarkable. No one's ever compiled it the way she did. She put it in a spreadsheet right on the screen, and she had all the people surrounding TPUSA, adjacent to TPUSA. Like I said, there were a couple, like Jaco Boyens she left off, I think. Maybe she put it on there, but I don't remember seeing him. And Jaco Boyens, if you recall, opened a charity with Lori Franzwe, who was for some reason using her maiden name, Lori Abbas. But she put it all up there, and when you looked at it, what you saw was an absolute trafficking ring constructed around these people. And I find it difficult to believe that all of these people, adjacent to trafficking charities and former traffickers themselves and people with licensed firearm dealers and all this stuff, I find it nearly impossible to believe that it is an innocent set of circumstances. I used to be the president of a pro-life charity. What we did was we helped women get pregnancy tests. We gave them ultrasounds if they wanted one. We helped them buy baby items. What they would do is they would take classes. Great charity. They would take parenting classes, because a lot of these women came from very unfortunate circumstances. Very hard lives, project housing, inner city lives, most of them, probably 90+% of them. And they it's not that they wanted to have an abortion; they didn't want to raise a baby. They didn't know how. But if you can get to them and say, "Hey, let me show. Let's just sit down and watch some classes. If you watch the classes, we'll give you baby bucks."
Ooh. And
these baby bucks could be used in the store, and we would have people donate carriers and formula and diapers and onesies and clothes and shoes and all kinds of stuff. Take the burden off of raising a child. But in order to get that, you have to sit down and watch parenting classes. And the parenting classes would say things like, you have to hold your baby. Like, you need to hold your baby a lot. And they were like, what? Why? Like, because the human body requires that. The kids develop hormones, and it helps soothe their brains, and it helps brain development and eye development. It helps cut down on learning disabilities and violent tendencies. Like, you have to hold the baby. These people came from generational trauma. They never heard that. They never heard that. They're not bad people. They're not innately stupid people. They just were never taught the basics. Like, if you don't tell someone to buckle their seatbelt, they don't buckle their seatbelt. You have to make it like, hey, you buckle the seatbelt. You get in the car, you buckle the seatbelt. You don't cross the road without looking both ways. If no one ever told you that, you just run out in traffic. And if no one tells you to hold your baby, you don't hold your baby. You don't know you have to. But there were a lot of people that worked in and around this charity. We had an executive director. We had staff members. There were probably 10 of us on the board. We would raise money. We would have fundraisers. We had volunteers. We had all these people. You know how many of them were involved in trafficking in any capacity? None. None. There was nobody adjacent to sexual trafficking, gun trafficking, drug trafficking. Absolutely nobody. None. Not a single person. These were people like accountants. We had a guy that was a carpenter. We had a guy who had a plumbing company. I don't think he graduated from high school. Very successful guy. These people just wanted to help. They saw human beings in dire conditions, people who were hurting, generationally hurting, and they thought, I can help them. Nobody connected to trafficking. I was on the finance council of our church for 11 years. Holy Spirit Parish in Montgomery, Alabama. I was on, I think, 11 years I was on the finance council. You know how many people on the finance council were in trafficking in any way? Background? No one. Had the CEO of a media company there. He was on the board. Had an accountant. Nobody involved with trafficking. None. Just people who wanted to make sure the church's money was spent well. We went to good things. Like we had an elementary school at the church, and we wanted to make sure the school was funded, make sure the playground was nice. I think we raised money at one point to build a gym for the school. Like, just normal stuff, guys. Normal stuff. No trafficking.
Vaginal suppositories.
Never out of 10. It's like putting chapstick on your forehead and hoping that it reaches your lips. Negative 20 out of 10. Douching destroys your vagina's healthy microbiome.
Y'all going down in history.
That's it. And to make sure, like when the pair's doors were broken in a hurricane one time, we had to fix the doors, put some metal around the door frame where it was broken. We had air conditioners go out, $25,000 a pop, so we'd have to raise money for those. We had to hire somebody to get up and inspect the roof after a storm one time. That was like $10,000 because our roof it looked like this. I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, just normal charity stuff. Nobody involved in trafficking. No licensed gun dealers. Nobody took private planes anywhere. Just normal stuff. I'm not knocking people giving back to good causes. I'm knocking people who are creepy, who have the same background, who all seem attracted to the same thing, who seem to be involved in an industry that on its face looks like, I think we're going to support some Republican candidates and teach some kids about Christ. Then why don't you hire normal people? Why don't you hire normal people? That's it. Like, I'm so frustrated with the attacks on us for asking regular questions that any normal person would ask in this situation. This is an absolutely normal question to ask. Why is everyone involved in trafficking in some way? Why? The normal question. The normal question is, hey, your CEO just got brutally murdered. Where were you when it happened? Like, that's a normal question. I'm sorry, it's a normal question. The normal question. Why did one of your planes fly there if they weren't picking someone up? I don't know. You don't want to answer that question? No. It's not normal either when every time you do decide to answer a question, that you do it through weird podcasters with no audience Like you have legitimate people asking questions and you could pick up the phone and call them or send them a text, but you don't. You send your text through a guy with a face this long, with a government contract, by the way, a DOD contract. Why? Why are you doing it that? You're sending it through House and Habit? You're sending your alibi through House and Habit? That's how you get your flight itinerary out? This is part of the gaslighting. This is part of the gaslighting.
I think he was talking about Tactical Paramount. Had to be.
Why don't you just pick up the phone and call the people? I texted with Tyler Boyer. I texted him, asked him if he wanted to come on the program. He said, think about it. Obviously, I've never heard back from him. That's fine. He doesn't have to come on the show, but you have my number. If you think you were on a later flight and you think you can prove it, send me the documentation. I will be the first human being in America to issue a correction. But if I put something on the screen as a document, guess what? Marks has an FFL1. He just does. He's a licensed firearm dealer. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. I showed you the document. You can look it up yourself. Go to any FFL database. It's there. Victor Marks Group, LLC, FFL1. Now, my opinion is that's really weird for a preacher.
Ooh.
It's a really weird thing for a preacher. It's a really weird thing for a guy running charities, and that's just nuts. I'm sorry, it's weird. That's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is, we don't know where Charlie Kirk's wife was when he was taken down. That's a fact. My opinion is, that's weird as hell. Why would you not want to establish that for everyone in the world? That's my opinion. It's weird. That's not me calling her a killer. That's not me saying anything about her or character. It's just, why wouldn't you establish where you were? We don't know where you were in the couple of days leading up to when your husband was assassinated.
Oh, we do.
But you try to establish an alibi through some third-rate podcaster with 200 live people? What? What? Why? Why? That's the difference. Fact and opinion. Opinion protects the speech. I can hold any opinion I want. Facts are facts. They're stubborn things, but they're facts. They're just facts. The final thing I'll say. When Victor Marks purchased the $26,000 worth of guns, he didn't run them through the FFL company. You know, the FFL is in not Richard Marks. He was a singer in the 80s. A good song. Sign on the dotted line. That's a good song. Richard Marks could jam. Are you kidding me? Don't need nothing. Oh, man, that's a great song. Not Karl Marx. He was a, philosopher, economist. What's the guy's name? Victor Marks. When Victor Marks purchases the $26,000 gun, you notice he doesn't do it through the FFL company. He doesn't do it through Victor Marks Group LLC. He does it through his charity. Is that illegal? I don't know. I'm not a firearms expert. But I think it's weird. I think it's really weird. You know, charity to me is like food, baby clothes, Bibles, maybe some medical supplies, some PPE equipment, going into dangers there. I don't know. Guns are not charity. Those are weapons of death. And I'm a gun fan. I love guns. I have a lot of them. But they are weapons of death. They are designed exclusively for ending lives, animals and humans. That's all they're for. That's not a charity. That's not a ministry. Jesus Christ is a ministry. He did not preach 20. I'll look in the Bible. Where is it? I got my Catholic Ignatius Study Bible here. Let me scan it real quick. Look for the go thou and buyeth $26,000 of guns. No, I don't see it in here anywhere. Mark, Luke, no. I'm going to safely say it's not in there. I just assume it's not in there, ladies and gentlemen. Serious business, I get it. Tell me the ministerial purpose for buying $26,000 in guns and link it to Jesus Christ and do it in one sentence. I'll wait. I'll wait.
One sentence, no compound sentence. I want no semicolons, no commas, only a dash.
You should have never run for Colorado governor. You could have flown under the radar. You could have deleted tweets about knowing Charlie Kirk was dead half hour before anybody else did. All of this would have gone under the radar, and you would have never known. You would have never known. I don't normally pull up supers in the middle of the show, but this one caught mine. Really disappointing you didn't believe a bunch of global arms crafters suddenly found the Lord and are now rescuing orphans with Eric and Jimmy Barbecue. It's called charity, Baron. And grieving differently. Grieving differently.
Look at Candace in the chat. Global arms traffickers suddenly found the Lord, right? All the pastors randomly, and now rescuing orphans and Jimmy.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, our principals and pastors, this is why I tell you to be on your best behavior in the chat. You never know who's watching. You gotta be on your behavior. Mind your P's and Q's, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at Candace in the chat.
Yes, it's insulting, I know. I'm not trying to insult people by not buying their charity. But I just don't find a biblical
She a real fan of that doggone Baron.
mandate to goeth forth and buyeth thy guns. I don't see it. Guys, I appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to run through some of your comments because this is my favorite part of the program. This is the community building hour we're about to go into here. Oh, update. I'm going to have Jesse on fire on Friday for the members chat. It'll be at 1 p.m. Central. We scheduled that.
Okay, nice.
Not too terribly long ago, but we scheduled that. That'll be Friday. I am well aware a lot of you think his theory is total nonsense.
Charlie Kirk.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's total nonsense. We may or may not even talk about Charlie Kirk. So we don't talk about it. So we can talk about your theory. We can just talk about like the fake moon trip. We can talk, member shows are all wide open. I said we can just turn on the mics and see where.
Get 30 protein sticks for just $36. That's only $1.20 each.
Member building. Oh, come.
So the head medical examiner just decided, wow, inspection's coming, and we got to chuck this skull out. What's that all about? Remember when mobsters ran everything and they owned the mayor's office and the police back in the 1930s and they could basically get away with anything and everything, even murder? Well, that still seems to be happening today in cities like San Francisco, except the mobsters are people like Sam Altman. I think most of you who have been following me a while have heard of Suchi Balaji, the OpenAI whistleblower who was trying to expose OpenAI's data abuses before he tragically died of a suicide in late 2024. And how do we know it was a suicide? Well, because that's what they told us it was. But late last night, Suchir's mother, Pornima Romero, took to X with a bomb.
I need to get back over there on X for real. I've been missing out. We learned recently that autopsy was never performed. Partial autopsy by medical examiner means they dissect part of the body injured. Medical examiner failed to open the head, though there was injury. Autopsy has to be supervised. In this case, chief medical examiner was not present. ME had to take pictures of oral cavity. They missed it. Stomach has to be open to determine time of TOD. Entry room had to be examined to see the soot, to identify exact distance between victim and the firearm. No crime reconstruction. With so many errors, we can challenge OCME of their conclusion. Okay. Who is Ines Picker? Or Ines Picker 101 in Rukana.
Allegation that reads, quote, we learned recently that the autopsy was never performed. Partial autopsy by a medical examiner means they dissect part of the body injured. Medical examiner failed to open the head, though there was an injury. Remember, he was allegedly shot in the head. Autopsy has to be supervised. In this case, chief medical examiner was not present. ME had to take pictures of oral cavity. They missed it. Stomach had to be opened to determine time of death. Entry wound had to be examined to see the soot to identify exact distance between victim and the firearm. No crime reconstruction. With so many errors, we can challenge OCME of their conclusion. At this point, is it even shocking? I still think it is shocking, but maybe not surprising that a police department would be this corrupt, potentially, to cover up a possible homicide. Because just to remind everybody, there were a lot of very weird inconsistencies at the crime scene.
It looks like a suicide to me. Why does it look like a suicide? It was a gun he had purchased. It was this is like Rooster to talk about. Sorry, medical record isn't out. That went to you. No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of struggle, of course. The surveillance camera wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was suicidal. No note and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone. And then he's found dead with blood in multiple rooms. So that's impossible. Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it? I've not talked to the authorities about it.
Hey, man. Welcome to the AJC.
Immigration arrests in Georgia have nearly quadrupled this year.
We just found your next favorite date night spot.
Of course, Sam Altman has not talked to the authorities about it, because could it be that he owns the authorities? Owns? I'll put that in quotation marks. I mean, Sam Altman is literally in the government of San Francisco. He has an official position in the government. And they still like to call whatever it is that's going on over here in the United States a democracy. The mayor of San Francisco, Daniel Lurie, he's in the middle there. He was at the ribbon cutting ceremony. In fact, no, he cut the ribbon at the opening of OpenAI's new headquarters in the Mission District of San Francisco. So I would say that this is pretty reminiscent of the Boardwalk Empire-esque ties between politics and business, and I don't think it would be a stretch to say that the mayor would want to protect one of his biggest cash cows in Sam Altman. By the way, this is the same medical examiner's office, okay, the city of San Francisco, that had to just pay $750,000 to an ex-employee after she said she was fired for reporting a missing skull. Yeah, San Francisco will pay $750,000 to settle a bizarre lawsuit brought by a former employee of the city medical examiner's office who claimed that she was fired for raising concerns that her boss may have tossed out a human skull. City supervisors unanimously approved the payout Tuesday, resolving a complaint filed by a former autopsy technician named Sonia Komenik Adachi, who alleged she faced retaliation after reporting the disappearance of the skull during an internal inventory. Her lawsuit alleged the office's executive director, David Serrano Sewell, may have inexplicably discarded the skull while rushing to tidy the workspace ahead of an inspection, according to the San Francisco Standard. So the head medical examiner just decided, wow, inspection's coming, and we got to chuck this skull out. What is that all about? Well, the skull was a critical element in identifying the man, the complaint said, per the Standard. Komenik Adachi alleged that after she raised concerns about the missing remains, her boss failed to investigate and instead sought to push her out of the office, so clearly trying to hide something. She claimed that she was subjected to a polygraph request, background scrutiny, and professional retaliation that ultimately resulted in her termination from a temporary at-will role in 2023, noted the Standard. City officials disputed the claim that the skull was discarded. So that last part I had to put in for legal reasons, but I think we can all sort of surmise in our head that clearly the SF OCME isn't all too familiar, or isn't unfamiliar, I should say, with the tampering of evidence. And clearly we, and others, I think we are all over the target right now in terms of the Sam Altman investigation, because it was announced today that Peter Thiel, Sam Altman's best bud, is launching a new AI investigative startup to protect the reputation of their clients against journalism.
Journalists ruined your reputation, not with evidence, with a narrative. When they come for you, there's no way to fight back. Until now. Introducing Objection, the first AI tribunal. Former CIA and FBI agents will investigate. They gather evidence and make it public, permanently. The AI tribunal checks the record and renders the verdict. You can save your reputation in days, not years. From the team that bankrupted Gawker, mastermind Aaron D'Souza and investor Peter Thiel, comes Objection. Truth isn't what goes viral, it's verified. File an objection.
Yeah. I don't know, that gives me the heebie-jeebies just watching that thing. Like, it's, that whole video, sus as hell. They're calling it the Tribunal of Truth. Objection, a new technology platform founded by entrepreneur Aaron D'Souza and backed by investors including Peter Thiel and Balaji Srinivasan, has launched with an explicit mandate to subject the media's claims to system.
So they didn't do an autopsy? Partial autopsy? I'm finna get up out of here. 2 hours, 30 minutes. Let me just call it a day, call it a night. Let me just call it a day, call it a night. I know, you know how it is. You'll get the doom scrolling. But in the meantime, Raju, in between time, love you, bye.